All right. Just finishing the last couple of things. If anybody joins. Nearly there, chaps. Jaden. How's it going, guys? Just real quick, can you hear me? Realize I'll have to type that, won't I? In case you can't. Not seeing my microphone. Oh no, it's speaking properly now. Super. Awesome. Well then, how's it going there, guys? It's nice to see you. Been a little bit, since the last live stream, but that's the way it goes. I've been a busy boy, as I usually am, I guess, nowadays. Hope you've all been well. I'm looking to catch up with you a bit tonight, hang out a little bit, and really just do a bit of astrophotography, take a look at the Discord. Yeah, mainly just chilling out. That's the goal. It goes no further than that. So I'll show you what I've got set up so far. I'm running 2 rigs tonight. It's my Edge HD11, Hyperstar V4, and 585 camera. Just UV IR cut filtration. As you can see, I'm shooting M33 with that. 1 minute subs. I can't show you the other screen, but I'm shooting the same target, M33, but with my SQA 106 and a 2600 Air camera, basically. Some good fun. But yeah, let's start getting caught up. Anyway, that's the thing I'm really interested in. So I'll try to catch every message in the chat. Jaden, hey Luke, how's it going, mate? It's good, mate. Yeah, not too bad, Jaden, to be honest with you. Everybody always says that, don't they? But yeah, I feel like I'm getting a little bit ill, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Nothing serious, but like that kind of familiar feeling when your throat's a little scratchy and your muscles are a bit achy and something's not quite 100%. So yeah, I'm expecting a cold or something coming on. But yeah, I hope you're doing good, dude. Casper, hello Luke, love your vids. Thank you very much, mate. Nice to see you here. Overpar, nice to see you. Pete, always a pleasure, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the microphone check feedback. It's always very, very handy. Sometimes my software, it will show that my microphone's like working, being registered, etc. And then I've gone live before while it's looking like that, and people are like, "Dude, we can't hear you." So I always have to double check. But yeah. Mike, how's it going there, Mike? Perfect timing. Hey, I've been accused of worse. I have rain for the next several days, so done with imaging. Yes, we hear you. Fantastic. Yeah, I hope you're doing well other than the rain there, Mike. Jean Guillemon, hello. Nice to see you. Thank you, by the way, Pete, for letting me know. Keith, good to see you, Keith, as well. I think it's been a little while since I've spotted you in a live stream, buddy. Always a pleasure. Jonathan, good to see you. Leo, hey Luke, hi from Tampa, Florida. Nice one, mate. Sounds great. Good stuff. Astronomy with Claire. Hello there, Claire. Hope you had a grand old time in Canada. Brian McCarthy, good evening. Good evening to you too, mate. Kevin, evening, mate. And Nigel, how is it going? So yeah, I'll tell you a little bit more now about what exactly I'm doing. So as I've said, I'm shooting M33 with both of my scopes, and I'm trying, probably, anyway, we will see if it turns out all right, but I'm going to try to put together, not like a head-to-head comparison, but yeah, for whatever better way of explaining it, it's going to be that kind of thing where I'm just taking a look at an incredibly high-quality refractor rig versus my Hyperstar rig, and shooting the same targets, a bunch of different ways. Various different cameras, mono versus color versus color, all sorts of stuff over a few different targets. And I'm quite interested in seeing how they perform when pitted against one another. So that's what you're going to see in a future video at some point. Don't know when, but could be a bit of fun. But yeah, stunning here in Somerset. Good to hear that, Richard. I'm glad of that, mate. Doing well, thanks for asking. Been working on some processing and some issue resolutions with Celestron. Hello from the Netherlands, by the way, says Casper. Nice one. Pisani's Workshop, how are things? None too bad, mate, thank you. Yeah, I hope the same for you. Banquet says hello to fellow Astro enthusiasts. Hello there, mate. And Alexander as well. Greetings from Lago Maggiore. Sounds very Italian. I've definitely got that wrong, but it just sounds Italian. Hi from Brazil, says Astro Bar. Awesome. Good to see you all here, guys. Hope you're all keeping well. But yeah, one of the other things I want to do tonight is hopefully I've got this window set up correctly. It's not cutting things off. It looks all right. I do want to have a scan at the Discord, really, and see what people have been getting up to, because I know there's been all sorts happening, but I haven't really been able to partake in any of it, if I'm being honest. It's just been endless crap weather mixed in with tiredness, I guess. If I'm being honest, there has been a bit of that sometimes. You know, you're looking for any, like excuse to not set up. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but yeah, I certainly have been recently. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a tough one, but we'll get in there. Hello, says Deep Sky Astro. Hello there, mate. Good to see you. So yeah, I think we'll jump in and do a little bit of this. Did anybody catch the NASA press release thing on 3i Atlas? I noticed a few of the live streams were covering that kind of thing. Interesting enough. I know there's been a hell of a lot of people out there mega interested in Atlas, hasn't there? But man, I hate to be such a killjoy, but it just doesn't seem that interesting to me. Oh dear. Until we start seeing lights in the sky and little green men, I'm going to remain firmly planted in the it's just a rock camp kind of thing. Right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll start. Blimey, there's been a few images posted to the Discord. I haven't been checking it quite as much as I should, but holy moly, we've got a lot to go through, chaps. Look at all these. Wow, I think we'd best, for the sake of fairness, we've caught up with where we last left feedback. Holy heck, yeah. I think we'd best start at the top, perhaps, and work our way down steadily, if you guys are interested in doing a little bit of that. If there's anything else you want to do, by the way, just do let me know. But yeah. Be here all night. Yeah, I think it actually would take all night to get through those, Mike. I could probably stay alive for a bit. It won't be a desperately long one tonight. I've just been, just doing parent stuff. That's it. I won't obviously dwell on it. It's nothing bad. It's just all been great. But my son's going through a period right now of major development, I think, and he's requiring a lot of interaction and care, which we love. But yeah. So I'll tell you what, we're going to start with Alexander's image posted 38 minutes ago. Brody, good to see you, Brody, mate. Hope that you are keeping well. Thanks, Canada was fab. Yes, I'm really glad to hear that, Claire. That's awesome. And hello, by the way, Sebastian. Hi from France. Nice to see you. See Chuck's YouTube posted, so follow up later. Nice one, yeah. I'm done with the weather in the Netherlands. It's always raining and we have clouds, and when they're finally away, above GB, there are more clouds waiting for me. Yeah, it's pretty bad, mate, this time of year, isn't it? I have to say, it gives and it takes, doesn't it? The weather in this country, at least. Over the summer, yeah, you might get some more clear nights, but they're so short that you can't really do much with them. So when you do get at least one good clear winter night, you can probably make a week's worth of summer nights. It's just to come so infrequently, you've got to be ready to go like the drop of a hat in order to try to make the most of it, which isn't always so good. Absolutely nothing wrong with parent stuff. The interaction is how they grow up. Oh, Mike, honestly, mate, is He's so much fun looking after my boy now. He's started walking around. He's toddling around. He's forming more word sounds and stuff. Honestly, it's a pleasure. Mick, nice to see you there, Mick O'Donnell. Hi Luke, great video you have, mate. Thank you. Recently been getting into PixInsight using your tutorials and tips. Cool. Thank you so much for those. It's a big learning curve. It is, Mick. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I've told the story a million times, but honestly, when I first tried the trial of PixInsight, I nearly quit before the trial was up, but I stuck in there. My God, I'm glad I did. It's just changed the game for me. I couldn't go back. It's a bit of a frustrating one because a lot of the time I'll post, let's say, a PixInsight tutorial on YouTube. I hate using the word tutorial because I don't view myself as a teacher or something. But anyway, a workflow or whatever it is. And then a lot of the times people will be like, do you think you could do one in serial or something like that? And I really do empathize with it. It's just I'm so far out of the loop with alternative software now and that deeply invested into what I do on PixInsight. It would be an absolute nightmare to do it. But yeah, that's a bit of a tangent for you. I'm glad it's working out, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, Alexander's image. Redcat 91, AM3, 2600MC, and an SV Bonnie 220. I had the opportunity to check one of those out from SV Bonnie, but I didn't want to do the work for him, to be honest. So I turned it down. 63 minutes exposure. It looks like a good filter, though. Plenty of detail on display. I like the kind of semi-natural coloration that you've gone for on this, Alexander, if you do see this. Looks like maybe a bit of cloudiness crept in somewhere over these brighter stars. It's showing up as an illuminated patch around them. I noticed a little bit in this top corner as well. Other than that, if you want some feedback, it looks like your background's good and flat. Black point isn't bad, but there's a slight purple cast over everything. So to me, on my screen, as it looks like to my eye anyway, like this in the background, if you like behind in Discord, that would be black. You can see that this is clearly a bit purple. Still a beautiful image though, mate. So thank you for sharing that. I need to get on your Discord. Looks class. Is there an invite link? There is, old chap. Let me just sort you one out. Invite people. Copy a link. Let's get a fresh generate a link. There we go. I'll pin that to the top as well if you like. Hopefully that works. Some great images in there. There is. Yeah, it's absolutely bloody packed with them, mate. One from Chuck here actually as well. The little beehive cluster. Captured it with my Celestron Rasa telescope, 533 Antlia L filter, 2 hours, 30 second subs. Beautiful colour. Super flat background. Very neutral background as well. It's picture perfect. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely spot on. Really, really, really wonderful processing there by Chuck. You'll love to see it. Yeah, really like that one. I do like seeing clusters every now and again. Do you know what I mean? Something a little bit different. Astro Vet Man, and I can see his Corvette there as well. Lovely stuff. Horsehead Nebula wide field. Before I take the Redcat 51 off and replace it with the C8 Edge HD, I'll take this wide field of Bernard 33. 2600 MC Pro Altair Tri RGB. 97 subs at 5 minutes each, and then a bunch more subs. HA03 dual band. Hope you like it. Let's have a look. I'm sure I will, and I think I do. Yeah. Yeah, it's really attractive. Not like overdone or anything. It's nice and bright, well stretched, good depth of the stretch has been applied. You feel like there's nothing left on the table. At least that's the impression that I get. There's a small amount of green creeping in along much of the background. I will say that. I can see it's tinted, as I say, very slightly green rather than grey / nearer black. And then the other small problems I can note, if you're interested, is the core of M78's slightly burned out. Alnitak, you've done a decent job of suppressing that, because I know it's just ferociously bright and hard to contend with. But some of the other stars in the region, I don't know what it's a result of. Could be processing, could be filtration. But you can see they've got almost a softened appearance, and it's led to the rest of the stars looking out of whack with them, I would say. These look really pin sharp, and these look like they're a bit soft but have attempted to be sharpened, if that makes sense. Overall, I'm being nitpicky though. It's a really attractive image. I think you've done a lot right with this, because it's never easy shooting very wide fields, interestingly enough. Obviously, going deep with a long focal length poses its own challenges, but I'd never found really background neutralization to be one of them. That's always something that's more difficult with a wide field shot, I feel. So I know you've been up against it with that. Well done, all in. Although we're supposed to go meet a friend to do astronomy together after booking the trip, he was shipped to Jamaica as he's in the Navy to help out after the hurricane, so I just chilled. Hey, that's fair. You nothing really you can say about that, is there? That's oh darn, he's off to go do some heroism. But yeah, I'm glad you made the most of it, Claire. That's well, more than made the most of it by the sounds of it. It seems like you really enjoyed yourself. Love the beehive. I think it was my first visual target. Super. Yeah, I think trying to think now, Richard, what my first visual target will have been. It'll have either been M42 or the Pleiades. You know what I mean? Those are the things, before you even know your way around the night sky, you look at and you're like, what's that? That kind of thing. Or probably a planet, actually, more accurately, or the moon. But deep sky targets. Hamza, hey from Arizona. How's it going, mate? Nice to see you. No problem, Jaden. And no problem on the Discord link. Hey, Luke from Connecticut. Good to see you, Lazy Astro. Always a pleasure to have you here, mate. Next up, we were... Who's this, sorry? CG Cepha. SV Bonnie 80 Apo. TubeTech 585 Mono. 3.5 hours integrated time. Done a lot there with a relatively, limited focal length, I will say. It's punched in nice and tight on the horse head. There's obviously some background bias in terms of colour, so the horse head itself looks nearer black, but it's really a dark brown, and then much of the background away from just the hydrogen wall, where it should be a bit more neutral coloured, everything's red. So I find that a little bit off-putting, just personally, but it's a style. It does look quite neat still. You've done a good job of working with Alnitak. Everything looks well focused. Background relatively flat. Yeah, there's a lot to like. I can see some brightening along the top right, especially, but yeah, it's mostly there. Good stuff. Hi, Luke from Israel at the minute. Old geezer gazing. How's it going, mate? Nice to see you. Dare I ask, what's made you find yourself in Israel at the minute? No problem if you don't want to answer, by the way. I fully understand. Ram Abraham. Hey, how's it going there, Ram? Nice to see you. As always, mate, it is a pleasure. This is from 2int. Let's have a look. No explanation offered. Okay. The Pleiades. That's what we're looking at anyway. Lovely. Yeah, very nice filament detail. Really smooth. Doesn't look overdone. I can see some... Well, it looks like... I don't know. It could be lens stress. It could be a cobweb. It could be so many things. But there's something going through one of these brighter stars in the Seven Sisters there. Background is quite neutral coloured. Very little left over. They've done a good job of getting rid of most stuff. There's a bit of a green bias towards the top right. Slight, what looks like a pitting effect to M45, and it's really common to see that. It's hard to do an accurate kind of background extraction around M45. But what you can sometimes see, and it's quite subtle on this one, but I'm seeing it. So I'll mention it for the sake of pointing it out so that people can see it in their own images and hopefully learn. You can see the background here is darker than the background out here, and it should all just be about the same color. So it looks pushed back as a result, likely of background extraction. They've done a mostly good job with it, but I can see some unevenness. It's darker along the left side than the right. You can see that right hand's a bit brighter. But yeah, mostly very nice. Coloring's good. Star shape, size, color, very good. Yeah, there's a lot to like. I do love, by the way, that they've managed to achieve a few different tones of color throughout the nebulosity around the Pleiades as well. We've got this lovely blue around the bright young stars themselves, going out into the less illuminated, less saturated, dusty regions out there where it's more of a neutral space grey kind of colour. It looks really quite tasteful. Good stuff. Hello all from Dorset, says Tim. How's it going, mate? Was in the UAE last time I watched. Going to Portal 1 Skies in Rwanda in a couple of weeks. Superb. Enjoy yourself, mate. Yeah, make the most of that. Sam says, evening there, Sam. Finally have some clear skies. Better tomorrow night for me. What are you imaging tonight? I will just quickly show you, Sam. So I've got 2 rigs up and running, both for shooting M33 with the hopes of putting together a future comparison. Really, that's about it. It won't be like an apples to apples comparison or anything. It's just going to be 2 of my rigs, as I like to use them, for fun and for interest. Hopefully interesting anyway. But yeah, nothing scientific about it. Just a fun thing to do. Good luck, by the way, Sam. I hope you have a good tonight and tomorrow. First clean night for a month down in Devon. Been about the same here, Rob, to be fair. I mean, we've had little snippets. I will say that. We've had bits and bats where I've tried to do stuff, but I've gone like 5 or 6 subs before I thought this is just garbage. Not as clear as I thought, and clouds rolling. But yeah, tonight's been the first one where we've got a decent forecast, I will say. So I decided to, go live, make the most of it, do that kind of thing. I do find it, I mean, I know a lot of people do enjoy the lives. I do find it a lot easier sometimes to just go live and chat away with you guys. It's definitely more fun than just trying to figure out what the next video is going to be down the line, you know what I mean? Sounds like we've got someone coming in. Hello? Hello? Need to steal my phone? Hold on then. It's running ASIR at the minute, Chloe, but... Alright, love, no worries. Just been robbed. She took my phone. But yeah, I do find it a lot easier to do kind of live streams and that kind of thing, and a lot more fun, generally speaking. It's just... I don't know. I know I've talked about this before, but I do feel a kind of like a stress or a pressure before going live. Always been the same. It's gotten a little bit easier after doing quite a few live streams, and it probably would get easier still if I just kept on doing them. But I don't know. We'll have to see one day. As it stands, even if I wanted to stream every day, I don't think it'd be something I could feasibly do while trying to make the most of these early months in my son's life, which is priority number 1 for me at the minute, I guess. Hamza just shared his M33. Nice one, Hamza. We'll take a look at that in a minute, buddy. I get around for a lad from Doncaster. That's fair, mate. What are your thoughts on the Play 1 Uranus C Pro? I saw you did a few years back using it tonight, mate. Yeah, absolutely love it. I think it's a fantastic camera. Really, really do highly rate it. I will say it is, at the end of the day, just a 585 sensor. I think it's very well designed in a physical sense, like the body and the implementation of the tilt plate, the carbon body, etc. It's a well-built thing. But, thank you so much, mate. Ride the Liger. No stress, it's a hobby. Yeah, well, I do try to look at it that way, but at the end of the day, it kind of also is my job. So I have a very unhealthy relationship with that. I don't work as hard as I should sometimes, I reckon. But, sounds like we've got another intruder. You okay, Chloe? Thank you. See you in a bit. nice rubber. Took my phone back. But anyway, I'll let that reconnect. Where were we? I was just working through this one. Thank you again, by the way, Ride the Legger. I appreciate the support there, buddy. We're talking about 585s. So I was going to say the Player one, it's a wonderful 585. I've nothing bad to say against it. I will say if you at all feel like you might want to use an ASI Air or anything like that, though, you might want to think about ZWO options as well. Or even the Air version that comes with the built-in guide camera and stuff like that. I've really enjoyed mine recently, the 2600 Air at least, and I'd love to get my hands eventually on a 585 Air. I can see a usage case for it in my rig, but yeah. Oh, while we're on stuff as well, I will let you know. Some of you've probably seen Sharpstar are looking to release an SQA 130 coming up at some point. So I've inquired about getting a review copy at least. Anyway, usually Sharpstars, I don't know. It depends what mood you catch them in. I think it's sometimes you have to just like pay up front to get the product in for review. Sometimes they're willing to loan you it for a while, and then you decide down the line if it's going back or you're buying it, kind of thing. But yeah, I've asked about it. Anyway, I would like to take a look at that kind of thing in my observatory. I think it'd be good fun seeing a super high quality scope like that. But yeah, let's catch up just a touch more. Thinking about getting a Carbon Star 200 as a home rig. Have you reviewed it? I haven't, mate. No. They look like nice scopes. How do you feel about Newtonians in general? Old geezer gazing. I've mixed feelings these days, I will say. I feel like if you can get them on song, they can do so much for a relatively small outlay for the amount of aperture and speed you usually get with a good Newtonian. But I think it's just fair to say they're not as easy to use as some other telescope designs in terms of getting them in full fettle, a quality collimation result, ready to go kind of thing. Just finished a couple of hours on M33, swung over to IC410 for the rest of the night. That's the Tadpoles? IC410, yeah? Greens Luke from Maryland here in America. Dogged man, nice to see you. Thoughts on upgrading from a C-Star S50? Most logical path? Ooh, that's a tough one. What are you looking to achieve, FMR? That will help us formulate a better response for you, I would say, because there's so many routes you could possibly go. If you find yourself you're enjoying one particular facet of astrophotography more than another, and you want to go deeper on that, then we need to know. That's what I'd say from there, and then we can help you better. Can I plug my Society's 4th December talk with press? I guess, yeah. Why not? Mr. Matico, good day. How's it going, Gideon? Always a pleasure to see you, mate. I hope you're doing well. Cannot press post on my image on the Discord. Have you selected a tag, mate? So you've got like, what type of object it is, deep space, planetary, etc. You usually need to select a tag first, and then you can go ahead and post. It could also be maybe a file size restriction, I want to say. I will mention, by the way, anybody uploading stuff to the Discord, if you can, try to save as a PNG rather than a JPEG, because it seems like we're getting double compression going on or something whenever people upload a JPEG. It gets like mega compressed, but PNGs survive for some reason. It would be my first ever, but Reddit's a good beginner one. Okay. I went to gallery, new post, place photo, added title, and post is grayed out. So yeah, you also need to click a tag, I guess, mate. Hi, Simon, by the way. Good to see you, Simon. I realised last time I was live, I know this was a while ago, like 6 weeks or something daft like that, Simon, but I almost missed your message, mate, and I've felt bad ever since. Bought an SN10 off one of your members a while ago. Nice. Schmidt Newtonian, for anybody wondering. No Astro for me. It's been raining for a month. Ooh, and my AM5N is in China for warranty repair. What went wrong with it, mate, if you don't mind me asking? Let's let's review a few images anyway while we break off. IC10, a starburst galaxy hidden behind the Milky Way. Interesting stuff. For anybody who doesn't know, by the way, Klaus, every time we go live, pretty much we see another image from Klaus. And we've been offering bits of feedback here and there. And he's been, working hard in the background. And, his results are really coming on. Taking some lovely images now. So this is his latest, as I take it, Klaus Path. Yeah, there's a lot to like. So let's have a look. Stars are quite attractive. They could stand a small amount more deconvolution for my tastes. Don't know about any of you guys. They just look fractionally soft, but not, it's not like knocking my eyeballs out or anything like that. It's not too bad. The target itself is beautiful. However, it has elements that look a little, I would hazard at saying, hallucinated. So it looks like there's been some form of AI-powered deconvolution tool or similar applied to non-linear data. So that is to say, very slightly stretched, where it can't operate accurately. So it can form small, sharp-edged structures. That's not to say it looks bad or anything, by the way. It's still really attractive. It's just I can see something's gone on. Evidenced also by the fact that we've got some hatching structure. Don't know how well this is going to come through for you on the stream, but let's say particularly up here is where it's most visible to me. You can see like a lined, hatched grid structure going throughout, which obviously isn't there in reality. So that's been caused by some application of one step of processing, I would have thought, or maybe various steps. But overall, fundamentally speaking, it ain't bad at all. Background black levels set well. It appears to be mostly gradient free, just a small glow to the bottom right. Colouring, I find it really attractive. So yeah, there's a lot to like. Hopefully those little pointers help Klaus out if he sees these. I know he does tend to watch these back. And he's always open to the feedback, you know what I mean? I hope it doesn't sound like I'm being too harsh or anything like that. It's just, I do try to offer help where I can see it. I'm enjoying mine, but the Minimask was required. It was just recently released and the Dew Shield is too pricey for me. That's fair. SQA 130 is a dream, says Michael. Wife already approved the SQA 106. If I try to upgrade the contract, I might lose the house and kid. Oh, mate. Well, I can tell you the SQA 106 is a dream as well. It's just, mate, every time I get that scope out, it makes me happy. And that is really all you can hope for, I would say. Same for the SQA 55, by the way. Ever since I got that thing, it's just been a dream. Yeah, I'm expecting the SQA 130 would be the same if I can get my hands on one for, for the channel, for a review or whatever. Hello also from Israel. Everybody's in Israel. What's going on? Good to see you, by the way, Michael. Oh, so you did click one of those. No worries, Dragonfly. If you're still having trouble, just let us know exactly what it's showing up and we can try to get you sorted out. Been a while. Hello, Luke. Everyone, how's tricks? Not doing too bad, Pim. Thank you. Hope the same for you, buddy. Doing well, but not unpacked the scope since our house remodel. I want to redo most things. New cables, connect the folks. Fair. Yeah. Take the opportunity while you can, I guess, mate. Get it right. Like this time. If there were anything wrong last time. Enjoy capturing emission nebulae and galaxies. All right, then. So it's just general deep space astrophotography. You're not particularly leaning towards planetary or anything like that. So I would suggest, given that the C-Star S50 is operating with quite a small sensor, a 478 or something, I think it is, an IMX 478, what you could do is get a scope of just a little bit longer focal length and maybe a slightly larger sensor. So if you like the feel of the app and the usability of the C-Star app, I think the next logical step forwards that keeps that kind of thing going would be to move on to an ASI Air-based system. So I would suggest something like, and as I was talking about before really, an ASI 585 Air, because that's going to wrap a lot of products that you're going to need to purchase otherwise into one neat thing. So you're going to have your imaging sensor, a guide sensor, an on-axis guider as well, all built in, a power management system, an imaging computer as well. And then pair it with something, depending on your budget, maybe around about 400 mils, 500 mils of focal length, and that's going to allow you to capture a bunch of nebulae and galaxies, while leaving more on the table for you down the line if you want to pair that same camera with like a longer focal length telescope still for more challenge at a later date. But yeah, it won't be too challenging to use a relatively short focal length telescope, but it's still going to get you so much more than a C-star can. Hopefully that's useful to you. Is in the UK 2 weeks ago, didn't get as far as Yorkshire though. That's fair. Just posted my first session on the Wizard Nebula, 90 minutes, but a good start, good stuff. I'll take a look at that in a minute, mate. Another one from Chuck, M74, the Phantom Galaxy. This is his RASA rig out at Starfront Observatories, I do believe. 533 MC colour, Antler L filter. You're going for long subs on this, 5-minute subs. Wow. They're, you know, quite rare to see on such a fast telescope as a RASA. Just having a good look around this. Chuck's an absolute master when it comes to processing. Yeah. Wonderful. Just, you know, classic Chuck. Classic Chuck quality. There's a lot to see, a lot to like. Even the wider view right there as well. Looks like he's getting the start of some kind of dust or something in there. There's a lot of background galaxies. This is an irregular galaxy there. It looks like a... Look at that one with a hoop around it. I don't know if you guys can see that. Really tiny, but I bet that'd be an interesting thing to shoot on its own with a space telescope. Beautiful stuff though. Love the quite natural colouring is achieved on that one. Fantastic work as always. CG Cepha with a horse head here. Greatly appreciate the feedback. No problem, mate. Hopefully, you know, you've probably seen a live stream before. You know where I'm like with the feedback. I try to offer just honest feedback. As I think that's you know one of the best ways for people to learn, if possible. You know, I hope it's not strange of me to say that kind of thing. Oops. Just trying to catch up a little bit. Random RA spikes on the AM5N. Very strange, mate. Yeah, my AM5N tonight with the SQA106 on is guiding at 0.55. We're doing good. So, yeah, that is odd, dude. I'm wondering what the heck could be wrong there. I'm sure they'll get it sorted for you, though. Do you have a title for your image of the Dragonfly? You're trying to help Dragonfly out. Got you, Brody. Thank you, buddy. Pete, along with the Nutters. You on about in the Atlas stream. Bob. Good to see you, Bob. Evening, Luke and gang. Evening, mate. Got the notification while coming home from work. Had to stop by and say hi. I have to cook dinner, then off to my club's public telescope night tonight. That's at the Glassgate. Good stuff. Enjoy yourself, Bob. That's what it's all about, mate. Let's crack on with another image or two. Oh, we'll just quickly check and make sure everything's running correctly on this as well. Looks to be, and I'm noticing the mean values are going down as the night goes on, as the target goes up. Gets into less and less light pollution. Looking alright, to be honest with you. 1 minute subs is all I'm going for on this thing. Hyperstar. Can't knock it, you know. Can't knock it. I love this thing. Shrimp Nebula. Richard's Astrophotography taken with the Edge 11 533 mm Pro. Did not get as much time on it as I wanted. Got around 9 hours. Okay. Wowza. That is beautiful, bright colours. Could certainly stand more noise reduction. But I'm expecting, I can see like, it looks like you've really had to push the oxygen on this thing in order to get it to show up as it has. So, yeah, perhaps another pass of noise reduction on this would not go amiss. But everything else is looking pretty nice. I'm seeing some elements of compression artifacts creeping in, unfortunately. So this might have been saved as a JPEG and then uploaded to the Discord. That really can't be helped, I suppose, other than just everybody switching over to PNGs. Beautiful colours, though. That's the thing I really want to focus on this, is that he's gone for that kind of rainbow SHO almost. I think he's done a nice job. It always lends a lot to the visualization of three-dimensional structure when just looking at a two-dimensional image. All the information that's offered is, well, I can say, he's offered more information. That's probably the correct way to phrase it. By separating these colours up into discrete bands, it helps tell the the tale of what's going on in those various bands. Lovely stuff. Apart from that bit of noise, nice image. Small purple background cast, by the way. I will add that. I don't know if you guys can see that on your screens or not. Nice to see a bit of a non-standard target, though. I'll just take a look at this one from Tarun, and then we'll do a little bit of a chat catch up as well. 65-minute lights. What else we got? RidCat 51, Uniguide, 533 MC Pro. Okay. No filtration I'm seeing, so am I wrong? Maybe this is broadband then. Full broadband. That's some bright HA's got showing up in that case. So, when viewed as it's offered, in this kind of context, it's a very attractive image. If we start to punch in a little bit, there is some problems that I'm going to talk you through if you would like to hear them. So, the use of masking has led to some areas in this being completely desaturated and totally grey, where there should perhaps still have some colour. You can see remnants of it right there, where like the fringing of the mask is not quite taking it all out. So this looks like monochromatic data around much of M78. The core of M78 is slightly burned out. There's a little bit of that beautiful blue coming through, but again, much of it's lost due to desaturation and masking in those regions. I'm assuming to get rid of some kind of colour mottling, perhaps. That's usually the case, that you might see someone doing that kind of thing. That same mask has been a bit pervasive into regions of the background, so just down here, etc. It's just gone a total flat grey, no colour, no life to it. Other areas have been left like purple blue, like up here where there shouldn't really be any colour other than that kind of neutral, spacey, blacky grey kind of colour. And when I say space grey, I don't mean this monochrome grey either. There should be what feels like colour noise, effectively. When it's too creamy and smooth, it looks artificial, but I'm sure you know what I mean. It's one of those things you just get a feel for down the line. I like the regions of background HA that's been brought through. I feel like it's a well-stretched image, definitely. So that's a good thing to focus on. And star shape and size is good. Don't think star color is good. I think most color is gone from the image. So there's a few things to work on in that. If you want the feedback, but just in the context it's offered, it's quite nice. There's just some more on the table, I think, with that image, for my tastes. Clouds and snow here, yellow weather warning, no Astro for me. We woke up to snow today, Simon, to be honest. Yeah. Astronomy. Hi Luke, just stopping by to say hi. My rig is imaging tonight, but I'm off to a star party. Ooh, to show the public what Saturn looks like. Awesome stuff. On that note, while I've been doing other stuff, I did set up my second rig in the observatory, so that's why the SQA is out on the AM5 tonight rather than on the second pier in my observatory. I've set up the Maxitov 180 on it, along with like a planetary rig, so that if you guys want at some point, we can take a look at planetary and lunar kind of targets with that second system. That can be a bit of fun for the live streams, perhaps. Let's just, oops. Hey Luke, I had a question. It says Leo, what's all this? Unusual join activity. Oh dear. It's a live stream. We'll mark that as resolved. That's fine. Yep. Super duper. Right. Astro images. Here we are. Let's get caught back up where we were. Welcome aboard, by the way, all the new people who've joined the Discord. I appreciate that. Hopefully you'll enjoy yourself on here. It's a good, helpful bunch, and it's a nice place to have your images looked at by a bunch of different people, feedback offered, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Do take note, by the way, if you don't want me to offer feedback on an image, just please, you know, say just showing it for my own sake or whatever. No feedback needed, anything like that, and we'll just show people it basically without offering feedback. But I've got to say a massive thank you to the people that do offer up their images for critical feedback, because as I say, even if it's not your own image, you can have problems pointed out, demonstrated to you, and everybody gets to learn from it then, me included. So it's quite a selfless thing to do. So thank you everybody who does upload your images, open for feedback like that. Just being blind, Andromeda's widescreen is me. I got you. I had a question. When you stack images in AstroPixel, says Leo, do you make any cosmetic changes to the final image in AstroPixel before processing in PixInsight? No. Literally, mate, no. I just stack it up in AstroPixel processor with the settings that I've outlined in my previous APP video. Really nothing's changed since that. And then I take that output and process it fully, start to finish, in PixInsight. I find that's what gives me the most repeatable, like consistent results. Yeah. Trust me, I've tried a bunch of different things in order to try to get a workflow that satisfies me, because I know some people love going into the deep waters with PixInsight and flipping between various programs and all sorts of stuff, but I don't know, man. It just ain't it for me. I don't really like doing that thing. I prefer an efficient work through, if at all possible, even if I leave a tiny bit on the table sometimes, perhaps. It's just what settles with me. Struggled for 2 days installing the new on-step ASCOM driver. Ooh. That's a big one to learn there, Pim. A full clean delete and reinstall, eh? Ushi says, howdy from Texas. Howdy. Any advice for a scope slightly wider than the SQA55, probably the 225mm range, that's as good a quality? Ooh. That's a tough one. I really don't know, to be honest, at that. I don't think I can offer you anything in that kind of focal length range. Yeah, sorry about that one. I really can't bring anything to mind that would help you. I guess the other thing you could look at, I know it's not ideal, but if you want to get a wider field of view, and if you're not already using a larger sensor, then that's another way to do it. Keep the same scope, but get a larger sensor. So the SQA55 will support up to full frame. I've tested it myself, and it illuminates it really well. And it's very, very nicely corrected to the edges. But it can be quite an expensive way to do things. Getting quite a lot of pollution from wood burners here. Interesting. Wonder what all that's about, mate. M45 with the C-Star S30. 20 hours of M45. While that reminds me, by the way, S30. Eventually, there is the C-Star S30 Pro coming out. I've, as part of the ongoing trying to keep YouTube going tasks, I've been in contact with ZWO asking about, trying to get hold of one of those for review, and that should be a thing that happens on my channel. So if anybody's interested in a C-Star S30 Pro, we'll have one coming at some point, by hook or by crook. Still, let me just talk about this though. C-Star S30. A dinky little smart telescope, and it's taking an image like this. That's awesome. There's obviously a lot of processing work gone into this, and some of it we can see, is a little bit squiffy. So, there's a textured region up here at the top, which definitely shouldn't be textured, but it's crept in somehow during, I'm guessing, AI-powered deconvolution or similar. Again, being done while it's in a non-linear phase. There's some strangeness with the stars where it looks like most of them are split for some reason towards the edges, so that could be uncorrected field aberrations. Looks relatively even across much of the frame, except the bottom right is the best corrected corner on this person's C star. Not that uncommon you see this kind of thing, to be honest. Very slightly misaligned optics or tilted sensor or something else going on with these really small smart telescopes. But when viewed as offered, it's a very interesting shot of a target, and he's done an amazing thing with a very, very affordable telescope. If you want further feedback, I think you've got a nice amount of saturation on much of Pleiades. Background's a little purple tinted. Other than that, I think you're not doing bad at all, mate. So well done. Yeah, amazing what you can do. To put it into context, like this M45, geez, it probably took me 5 or 6 years into my astrophotography journey before I was able to take an M45 of this kind of quality with full-size telescopes. Never mind a bloody smart telescope. So the way things have moved on is just unbelievable. Some IFN in Chuck's M74, nice. Yeah, thought I could see a little bit. Some amazing shots. Yeah, people have been knocking it out of the park lately, dude. Surprisingly, my Dewey 17 is guiding around same with the 432 and an OAG. Very nice. Yeah, they're a well-liked mount, the Dewey 17. It seems like everybody who buys one likes it. So, yeah, they work for you. Absolutely. Enjoy. Glad you like the Hyperstar. Have mine on order for my Edge 11, hopefully in the next week or so. Lovely stuff. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to own and use as the Hyperstar, Rob. I'll be real with you. It can be a little bit difficult to get quality flats at times. I've had to go to strange lengths in order to get repeatable high quality flats with mine. The thing that helped the most was really obviously massively dimming down the light source, but changing the distance of the light source away from the OTA. So as far as I can get it away, it's a couple of feet from the front glass kind of thing, probably about 3 feet away. And that made a big difference, stopping, I guess, so much light bouncing around inside the whole system and giving strangely illuminated flats. But yeah, if you find yourself with that kind of problem, just remember, increase the distance from your light source to the OTA. That can really help straighten things out. This one's from Richard's Astrophotography again, the Eastern Veil. A quick process of the Eastern Veil Nebula, the Predator Nebula. I've never heard it called that before. Taken in October this year with a RASA rate and a 533 MC Pro. Beautiful bright colours. And like a razor sharp appearance as well. So that's awesome to see. It looks fractionally over sharpened, but I remember the last image that Richard sent was also suffering from compression artifacts, so we could be seeing a degree of that going on as well. Background is just a tad bright for my taste, but it's still fine. The amount of colour is achieved is stunning, basically. I really like the appearance of that. Deep stretch. Overall, a nice high quality image. Well done. Astronomer Claire sent 5 gifted memberships. Thank you very much for that, Claire. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate the support. Thank you. Yeah, my God, you're too kind. You're too kind. Astro Vetman, so this is another one. 3 nights of nice imaging, so I did an LRGB of M78 with the Teleview NP127 and a 6200mm Pro. Okay. And a Teleview 85 and a 268M. Okay, hope you like it. Yes, I do. It's a very nice image. Let's have a good look around. See what we can see. Tons of detail in M78. I will say that's came out wonderfully. Nice neutral background. I do like that. Maybe a fraction brighter than I like in some of my images. I can't say in all, because I've definitely set backgrounds like this before myself, so you know, it is what it is. Very natural coloring. So that's the standout feature of this image that I like the most, is just how pleasantly it leaves the screen. It looks completely believable, as it should. You know what I mean? It's real data, real processing. Few little remnant things left in, such as it looks like a triple line right there from, I'm guessing, an aircraft trail or something like that. And a small amount of what looks to be vertical bias banding has crept in somehow. Don't know how that's happened, but hopefully you guys can see it. Big, long vertical bands going through the image. Through most of it, to be fair. So perhaps, I don't know if you've been using, you know, new bias or anything like that, or it might be time to take some new bias frames if you do see this Vetman. It could be worth a look at that. I can see some small pitting around certain stars, by the way, as well. So little black holes next to stars in the image, but it's not consistent. It's not everywhere. So I do wonder what the heck could have caused that. Appears to be somewhat radial in nature from obviously from center. So the black pits are on the nearer center side when viewed on the right, and the nearer center side when viewed on the left. So perhaps some star misalignment during registration has gone on right there, and it's left some oddness, but mostly it's a beautiful image, and I'm just being nitpicky. Yeah, well done. I'll try to catch up just a chunk now on chat while we check on M33. Looks like we've done a meridian flip at this point now, and I'm just waiting for first exposure to come in, I'm guessing. Let's get caught up. Stop by to say hello. Hello there, Bottle Zero. Also, to thank you for all your hard work you pour into instruction videos. That's awesome, mate. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Pito Giros, hello. Hello there. Nice to see you. Yeah, that's looking good now. We're fine at that. It looks well focused. That'll stack up well. It doesn't look like much now, I grant you, but M33 is quite a low surface brightness object, so if you can see it decent in your individual subs, it's probably going to stack up quite nice. Got the latest Pix Insight in my list. Can't wait to watch it. Super. Isle from the UAE says Tariq. Nice to see you, Tariq, as always, mate. I'm watching it, but I'm busy playing with my SA Plus to finish my small setup. Nice. I'm watching this live stream. Good stuff. Astro Balcony says, hi, raining here in Milano. Hopefully it clears for you soon, buddy. Nick P, evening, Luke. Kira says hi. Hello there, Kira. Big news. Okay, as soon as the visa comes through, work is sending the family to the UK. We're picking up and heading there in the coming months. Dude, that's awesome. Well, welcome to the UK for when you get here then. Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, good on you for making such a big change in your life. It takes a lot of balls to do that, so good on you. Alan Moylan, if you're giving feedback, I'd love some. Posted my Alnitak Horsehead and Flame on October 27th. Super dude. Yeah, I'll absolutely have a look, Alan. Are the dwarf free? Are the temp values relevant for megastacks? Yes, I would say they are, mate. Unless there's a small temp variance, within 5, 6, 7 degrees or something like that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. If all your data that you're stacking is calibrated with appropriate dark, so it shouldn't make as much of a difference. But yeah, it's not a feature that I've tried yet, but just going off general advice that I would give if you're looking at stacking multiple nights of data with an uncooled camera, obviously you need to try and match your calibration as much as you possibly can.
feedback sessions have been valuable. Good stuff. I'm glad that you enjoy them. Struggling with the workflow and still tweaking directory names for targets. Do you blink subs to make sure nothing funky gets in the stack, or do you use some analysis tool and trust it? Good question, Michael. I use literally ASI Fits Viewer and my eyes, and that's it. Even if I've got 500 frames to work through, I'll just sit there with like one finger hovering over the right arrow key and another finger hovering over delete, and I'll just tap, check it. If it's good, great. If not, delete. I'll just move through until every frame looks as equal as possible. I have tried other stuff, like blinking through, that kind of thing. For me, I'm probably wrong, but it just works for me, and I can't see anything really beating an on-the-spot visual inspection, especially when you can reference back and forth throughout the night, throughout different sessions, etc. When doing it with ASI Fits Viewer, if I put everything into one folder like I do before stacking, and I've got multiple nights, I can reference back and forth and decide if I just want to scrap entire nights of data, which I've done absolutely quite regularly for my bigger projects. And I don't find it's quite as easy to do that with anything else. Gonna lay down for a nap now. You probably won't be live anymore when I wake up. So I'll see you next time, Luke. Hey, thank you very much for your help again, Brody. As always, buddy, I hope you have a good one. Still, even with C-Star, that image is amazing. It absolutely is amazing, mate. Yeah, the M45 shot was awesome. Anybody here imaging broadband from ball 8, ball 9? Well, I did most of my imaging up until just like the past year or so, and we've very slightly ended up with a lower end ball 7, maybe high ball 6 now. From a ball 7, like I say, anyway, that's what all my stuff's done from, generally speaking. But no, not ball 8. That's considerably worse. Thanks, Claire. Yeah, welcome aboard, all the new members, and thank you again, Claire, for that. That's very kind of you. Good evening, Don. Nice to see you. Siderium, hello, and Neil, hello. Are the streams saved so we can catch up with the reactions and feedback to our photos? They are, buddy, yeah. Let me just show you real quick. So, just to give you an idea, oops. You navigate to my channel on YouTube. Whoops. If you click on live right there, obviously you'll see I'm live right here, but the previous streams, I always just save them as a video on demand for you. And when you click one of those, I always leave the chat embedded too, so you can catch up with them and watch them back at your leisure. That kind of thing. It seems like a lot of people do like to consume stream content that way, like an after the fact thing, because I know I go live with no schedule at random times, and it's not too much I can do about that at the minute. So hopefully that answers that for you though, mate. So just from my channel, click live, and there you have it. First time posted something to the gallery using one of your techniques. Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, we've had a look at some of these now. I will come back, but for now, I will go back to the top and we'll check the new submissions and see what people have been popping on. Obviously, oh yeah, we've got a few coming in, look at that. Okie dokie, so we'll start with the Astronomer. Posted 44 minutes ago, M33. Damn, the smaller objects are inside M33. SETI Astro is a great tool for finding all the hidden gems. That's really, 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 really cool. I love that, mate. That's awesome. My goodness. So what tool is this then? Blimey. Talk about target-rich environment. Whew. Wild. But your M33 shot, anyway, fantastic. Yeah, I can see you've obviously included some, I'm assuming, HA data within this to really bring up those nebulous regions out into the spiral arms, and it's done a wonderful job. Nice amount of colour in the galaxy. Some small degree of over-sharpening to the stars. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. I'm trying not to be harsh, obviously, but there's a big difference between the stars here and the stars out here, for example, where they look a lot more natural and soft. But you know what? In the context it's offered, as we viewed like this, it's a very nice shot. So well done. If you want one last little bit of feedback, the background has a very, very slight blue-green bias to it. But it's nothing much. Well done. Thank you very much for sharing that one. I do the same, Luke. ASI fits for scanning through and deleting bad subs. Yes, absolutely, mate. It's fantastic. If we can just try to find, let me just crack open some of my previous data if I can, and I'll kind of just demonstrate to you roughly what I'd do. I need something I've not yet gone through though, which can be a bit of a pain. All right, so if I just open these, there's some old Hyperstar M81, M82 subs, for example. I'd click, you can see there's 345 of them right here. You can see your date is also put on at the same time as well, so you can note which sessions and at which time things were taken, so you can reference back and forth and see if at some point, you know, the data was looking loads better or loads worse or whatnot. But other than that, it literally is, for me, a case of starting at the top. You can see like this is much more dim. Much of Bode's spiral arms right there have disappeared versus down here a little later on in the night where it's darker. So what I would try to do is just with that in mind, go through, just using the right arrow key, keeping an eye on things. And I'm looking for star elongation, star defocus, etc. These are all looking fine at the minute, but I'd probably bin these before I stacked, given that they're a little bit low contrast. A way to keep an eye on the contrast in your images is to open up the histogram tool as well at the same time. So as you're working through, if you're looking at the minimum values, right there, brighter subs that have got like thin cloud, etc. passing through them, exceptional amounts of light pollution, you'll see that reflected in a heightened min value, if you like. You could also visually see the histogram like pushed across to the right. It's just a good way to keep an eye on what's what. Might sound boring as all doodad, but you know what I mean, it works. Most of these are good. I'm trying to look for an example of a bad sub where I'd like delete it. But what I'd be looking for is just a little streak to the stars, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's what I tend to do. I'll go all the way through and sort them out. Use an unmodded DSLR and have no plate solving or such, but I still do multi-night projects. For me, as long as the framing is roughly similar, all is well. No calibration other than SPCC is needed. Fair enough, mate, yeah. Hello from Washington, DC. Hello there, mate. Good to see you. Good evening to you too, Tony. Let's just catch up. Where can I get image feedback? I'm new to this server. Is there a spot where I submit photos for feedback? Yes, mate. So just join the Discord server from the link at the top. Navigate down to Astro Images. Click New Post. Upload your images using there. Give them a title. Add a message if you want. Let me know, you know, any particular type of feedback you're looking for. Details about the shot is always handy. Select a tag. So you have to have one selected, at least one. And then just hit post, and it'll fall into this big catch-all right here that just goes on and on and on and on and on and on, and we will eventually catch it on a live stream, and I'll give feedback on everything I possibly can, basically. Which is what we're doing tonight. We're just steadily working through and having a look at all these fine images that people have posted. This one's from Astro Pim, the Wizard. Okie dokie. So this is a very different look at the Wizard. Would this be HSO or something? It looks like a bicolor, so not even that, I suppose. But yeah, it's interesting to look at it in this different coloration. The feedback I can give you, Pim, if you want, is if you want to go with this coloration, that's absolutely fine. I shan't comment on that, but there appears to be a lot of texturing in the image, such as an over-sharpening around, let's say, fine edges where we know that it should look nice and sharp, but much of this more just general loose nebulous background also has what looks like filamentary texture permeating throughout it, and it's also coming all the way up here, etc. And you know, it really shouldn't be there. So I find that a little bit distracting. The stars looking green, I mean, it's wrong, but if you want to keep them in, that's fine. Other than that, all I can say to you is you could remove them and at an early stage in processing, or perhaps make a more conventional combination beforehand, take the stars out of that, then make your false color combination that you want here if you want in that purple green appearance, and then put the original stars back in. That'd be another way to correct for that. It might make a more aesthetically pleasing end result. Your background looks slightly crushed. Some regions, you know, look pitch black to me, which is never a good thing, because if you're crushing data, you're losing data. It's irrecoverable. But yeah, I think it's nice to see an attempt at a different way of doing things. So bravo on that, I will say. Absolutely. Yeah, nice stuff anyway. All the same. Thank you for sharing that, Pim. Next up was deleted. Kaga Minium. Like I'm missing something there. Mosaic of 2.5 hour, 300 sec exposures. Okay. Could not fit the whole Andromeda in one frame, so I've done a side-by-side mosaic. ASCII 120 Apo, 2600 MC Pro, Proxy Sky Umi 17R. I'm incredibly happy how it turned out. I started doing Astro this year. Wow. Looks phenomenal on I'm assuming an ultra wide screen. Yeah, that's cool, mate. That's a cool shot. Let's have a good look around. So there's a lot to like about this, and given you've only been doing it a year, mate, it's exceptionally good. You know, if you told me you'd been doing it 10 years, it'd still be really, 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 really nice. So yeah, 1 year you've came on absolutely in meteoric fashion. So that's really good to see. I love the colours you've achieved over much of the plane of Andromeda there. Really attractive. Some of the colours obviously have permeated into the background, but it's not that unattractive. It's not desperately bad or anything like that. There appears to be a small amount of remnant gradient across your frames. You can sort of tell it's a mosaic. Not too bad. But if I were you, I would try to mask out much of the galaxy, and maybe have performed your color adjustments on that masked more than the background, because it looks like the whole thing's been processed as one, if you like, without masking, perhaps. Some of the stars are very slightly over-sharpened if you want this kind of feedback, but it's not that unattractive. In the context it's offered, it's pretty glorious actually, so well done is what I'll say. I'm trying to offer appropriate feedback. Yeah, very nice. And I have to agree, by the way, an Andromeda offered in a flat plane like that looks super duper. In fact, I've got it set as my my wallpaper at the minute, like going across 3 screens. Give you a like on that, good sir. Next up was... Oh, we're going this way now. I'll try to catch up with chat. Just a moment. A botched 3-panel mosaic with a raster 8. Oof. Okay. Botched because I forgot to set autofocus for each panel. In the last panel, the bottom was out of focus. This is the maximum honesty approach from Michael, giving it to us straight. Okay. Fortunately, BXT is black magic and it's barely noticeable. Processing isn't too good. Has some artifacts from the merged mosaic and I couldn't be bothered fixing it. Raster 8, 2600 MC, AM5. Okay. an hour and a half per panel. Bought all 3 skies as well. Whew. Damn. Okay, let me just take this in for a moment. Do you know, mate? I probably won't have been able to tell anything went wrong with the the bottom panel. It looks absolutely fine. Yeah, BXT is black magic apparently, but I really appreciate the honesty on that one. I can see, yeah, it does look very slightly different than the stars at the top, but it's still absolutely spanking. It's a really, really nice image. There's some small artifact in. I'm guessing a star misalignment issue or something has crept in. I'm sure you're obviously already aware of it, given how proficient you clearly are at processing. Like the stars here examples. Got small shadows. Yeah, much of it is just tremendous. I don't even dislike the inclusion of a little bit of green towards the edges of this, because you've not allowed it to permeate through the background really. It looks quite neutral. It's just on the fringes of this bluer reflection nebulosity right there. It just looks attractive to my eye. Quite like it overall, mate. I have to say, some sort of internal reflection or something going on there, isn't there? Very big, not that distracting. Overall, it's a bloody lovely image, Michael. I'd be chuffed if I'd taken it myself. Let me just put my sock back on. I ended up taking it off while we're live streaming. Right. Oops. Let me catch up with chat just a moment as well while we're here. What's up, Luke? Hope you're doing well. Not doing bad, buddy. Thank you. Hope the same for you. M33 looks great. What camera have you been using? Been considering buying an aperture on a Newtonian for galaxies and objects for at home. I've been using a 585 on the one that you can see right here, and a 2600 Air on the Tutheran on my my portable like outside rig right now. I have to say, overall, mate, the 585 I think is the camera of the hour if you're not looking for a really big sensor. I absolutely love it. Yeah, that'd be my shout, mate, if you are seriously looking at more gear. You can get some images, most of really bright targets, and then they look good at long focal lengths. Bigger issue is the dimmer details, yeah. Oops. Apologies, I'm just trying to catch up with chat very slightly. I know it barely seems like a live stream when I'm so far behind on the chat, but I'm trying my best. Not familiar with Discord. I am a member, but how to join the stream posting, do you need an invite? If you're a member of the Discord, mate, just pop into Astro Images, that segment right down here. Click on New Post, click that to select your file. I would advise strongly saving your image as a PNG. And yeah, go ahead, add a title, add a message, let me know about it, and add your tag. And that's it. It should just appear as part of the flow then, and we'll be able to all see it. Blink on SETI Astro is nice with metrics. That's good to know. I've still not tried out SETI Astro's tools. I am way far behind with that kind of thing. Very sorry about that. Would just pop my latest solar image onto the Discord. Super duper. I'll check that out, mate, for sure. Evening all, glad to be here. Good to have you, Ian. Good evening, says Thomas as well. Good evening to you too, sir. Let me just try to finish catching up. Melos, hi. Hello there, mate. Great up in the histogram in ASI Fits viewer. Definitely put that to use from now on. Yeah, it's helped me out a few times, Mick. Sometimes if you just have a click through the average, you know, like the middle of each of your nights, if you're doing a multi-night project, just have a rough look at what the minimum or average values are. And go from there, really. If you're noticing that one night's way brighter than the others, etc., it might be worth just throwing it all away. I've never been shy of throwing away data, and it's worked all right so far. Josh Walsh guitar. Hey Luke, how's it going there, Josh? After a year with the DSLR, I'll be receiving a 2600 MC Pro tomorrow. Oh, congratulations, mate. Hoping to do some broadband testing tomorrow night. Ooh, yes. Maybe 6,000 in the cave. Absolutely. If you've got good skies, you could shoot the cave nebula in broadband. That would look nice. Depending on the rest of your rig, you've got 150 PDS. So if you're pairing that with the Aplanatic coma corrector, which is the one I'd recommend, you're dealing with 750 millifocal length, aren't you? You could even, if you can choose a target, anyway, get a nice galaxy shot with your rig at that. I know that the 150 PDS can absolutely do high quality galaxy photography. It's quite a high quality telescope in terms of the optics, especially, you know what I mean? Good evening all. Hello Luke, how's it going? Not bad, John. Good to see you. Always a pleasure to catch you in the live streams. You'll love that camera coming from DSLR. Agreed, Tariq. Yep, 100% agreed. I have the cave in the horse head. Gain 100 and IM35. IM42 gain 0. Ooh, so these are your other choices, eh? Okay. My gut says shoot M42, if that's on the cards for you then. I just love M42. And what a good way to christen your new camera, you know what I mean? Got the upload sorted, super. 1 year, stunning image, yep, absolutely. I wish my images were that good after 1 year, mate. It's unbelievable. Andromeda was first project in PixInsight. Thanks for the feedback, very appreciated. Superb, mate. Yeah, you've. I mean, cracky. If you're making stuff like that after 1 year, then goodness knows what you'll be doing after 2 or 4, etc. I see good things in your future. Jean Guillemon, FRA 500, 2600 MC, 106, 5-minute lights with an Optilong L Para. Okay. I love the coloration throughout the nebula right there. It's really quite attractive. You can see it's sadly overcompressed. This is an example of like a JPEG upload most likely, and you know there's not too much we can see or judge from that. So I'll just judge on what I can see, which is a well-managed main target in terms of the color and it not being overstretched while still being deep enough in the stretch, particularly out in towards the fainter extents, that we can see the entirety of the structure and appreciate it for what it is. The other bit of feedback I can still offer, even on a compressed image like this, is it appears that there's a background color bias towards green, particularly in the bottom left, and like a lighter green-blue, almost dark teal in the top right. So there might still be some remnant gradient going on through the image, but yeah, if you could deal with that gradient and background color bias while retaining the rest of the color in the target, tremendous overall. Thanks Luke, appreciate the feedback. Really had to figure if something's too green. Not easy being a bit colorblind. Got you. Would explain why I favor these colors. Yeah, really quite common colorblindness, especially in guys. Like 1 in 6 or something have got some degree of colorblindness. But yeah, I absolutely appreciate what you're saying there. William Optics FLT 132 from Neil. 2600 MC Air, AM5, ALPT dual band, and a color magic as well. Okay, done with the 2-filter SHO one-shot color technique. How did I do? In Texas and new to the hobby. So this is a little bit small, unfortunately. So I'll judge again on what I can see. I feel like you've got most of the way there with the coloration. Some of the background looks to be biased towards purple, and there's like a large remnant circle artifact. So some internal reflection from a bright light nearby, maybe, that kind of thing going on. That looks like it could be an out of focus illuminated edge of a lens cell or some other optical element. But yeah, it's hard to judge exactly what's going on in this, given it's a low resolution shot. But I'd love to see if you got the chance to re-upload for us. Sorry to be a pain with that. It's just obviously there's only so much we can do with that kind of thing. This is pretty. Jean's oops, M27, 2600 MC, El Para again, 82 3-minute lights, ball 2/3. Beautiful skies then. All right, so checking by getting slightly off axis from my screen. It's best viewed absolutely square on is my screen. There is a degree of color bias that can be introduced by tilting your head even, so apologies if sometimes I look a little bit mental while I'm doing these things, moving my head around. It looks like there's kind of a pitting that's happened as part of your background extraction technique. So most of the background is like pretty darn flat. You've done a good job there. However, the object we're looking at, M27, and its wings, these extensions, have been recessed into the background. They've been pushed back into a pit. So you can see this nearby background is much darker than the rest of the background, and that's not correct. So if that's something you could sort out, that'd really elevate the image another step for me. I find overall the processing you've done on the target is actually really quite nice, but the one thing that I would avoid doing is overly flattening the values in it, because it crushes some of the descriptors of value and brightness in the image that we otherwise would have access to. So I know for a fact, the core of M27, the dumbbell right here, is far brighter than these much fainter wings, whereas the whole thing looks the same brightness like this. I would have allowed it to preserve some more of that core brightness to better describe the structure and distribution of the object. That's just my tastes. Maybe you're different. I think overall, though, there's a lot to like about this. Some slight redness has crept into the background by way of a color model, but it's nothing too distracting. So overall, I think you're on the right track with that. Thank you for sharing. Crikey, I'm getting a sore throat. Really funny how you make a lot of effort not being harsh. I really don't mind you being blunt, so next time don't hold back. Give it another go on the weekend, see if you can improve. Much appreciated. No problem at all, dude. Thank you for sharing your work. Like I say, what is everyone else imaging this evening? So it's M33 for me, Tony. I'm doing SH2124, the hidden nebula in Cygnus. Okay, very nice. Uploaded your photo. We'll check that out if we haven't already seen it so far. Some people don't like to be harshed, but they're just learning on Stein. Yes, that's what I'm always trying to be aware of. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to, like, it's a balancing act. I want to give people feedback like they can action upon. So if I know you've just started 2 months back and your images, don't look awesome on a global scale when ranked against everything, but they're awesome for where you're at right now, it'd be pointless me giving like massive harsh feedback or something like that, because you're just going to be like, great, what do I do with this? When I can see someone's massively proficient, however, I can try to offer some deeper feedback where possible. I hope that makes sense. It's just a judgment game, I guess. It's just my judgment as well. Who am I to say? I do my best. But yeah, I always seem to come away feeling like I've learned from these sessions, that's for sure. Always enjoying streams. Thank you, mate. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I have a question. Do you have any experience shooting and assembling mosaics in PixInsight? I don't have any experience assembling a mosaic in PixInsight, no. The only mosaic work I've done has been registered and stacked in AstroPixel Processor. I wouldn't even know where to start in PixInsight for one, to be honest, mate. So yeah. Can't offer you anything useful there. My favourite Astro nerd. How's it going, Diana? It's lovely to see you here. I hope you're doing well. I noticed you've been trying real hard with your channel lately, and you're doing super, super well. So keep up the good work there. Awesome to see that. Oh, and by the way, Diana, thank you for your long-term support as well. I really do value that. It means a lot. Hi, Luke and chat. How's it going, Damien? Nice to see you, buddy. For those guys who don't know, by the way, your favourite Astro nerd, she has a channel. Damien K has a channel. By all means, go ahead. check them out. I can highly recommend the work that they're doing. Richard's Astrophotography. Good evening, Luke and everyone. How's it going, Richard? Hope we're all going well. Not too bad, buddy. Getting out and try our baby Q. Is that the FSQ 86? I think it's called an 86 or an 85. I can never quite remember. I get confused with the FSQ 106. Do you save your images as PNGs in general? Yes, I do these days, mate. Evening, Luke. Hopper is one with the family. It is, thank you, mate. Yeah, I hope the same for you. No chance for any Astro with the snow coming down tonight. Thanks for going live. No problem, mate. Thanks for joining in. Satsy Astro Blink is a lifesaver. Where's that gone? Sorry, chaps. I'm doing my best to catch up with you if I can. Me anyway, since I have to blink through thousands of subs when I see start. Fair enough, yeah. That's I mean, thousands of subs would probably sicken me as well if I were working through them manually with ASI Fits Viewer, but I'd probably still do it. Anyone using the new TubeTech Hope D60? Not had the opportunity to try one, mate. No. M42 it is. So yes, go for it, John. I think you won't be disappointed. Chloe, let me know all is good. Using the L Para with the Raster 11 and it's spectacular. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. Yeah. Having one of those nights where whatever can go wrong does go wrong. We've all had them, Chris. Yeah, 100%, mate. It's a case of sometimes just hanging in there, rebooting everything and just trying again. That can sometimes help. Or, as I don't know if Mike is still in chat. In fact, he is. Yeah, I can see there. As he's just giving you that advice, it was one of the standout bits of advice that came in through the recent video I did, the things I wish I'd learned sooner. And Mike said to me basically, sometimes you just got to know when to hand it a win. You know what I mean? Let your rig win every now and again. Come back refreshed. It can be a frustrating old job, can Astro. I have a Player One Uranus C Pro 585 that has a banding issue on the bottom. Okay, there's a green thick line that darks and bias don't calibrate out. I was told to use flats, but they're still there. Anyone else? So I've not had any issues myself, mate. Have you updated the... I'm assuming you already have done this kind of stuff, but upgrade the drivers, ideally from fresh as well, on your system. Try with a different USB, and even just for testing purposes. I'm not suggesting you have to buy a new Astro PC or something, but just test the camera on another system as well entirely. 3 different things to give a go to there. Oh, one more thing you could try as well. Change the power supply, if you can, to the camera. Sometimes you can get some degree of like current bleed. I don't know if that's the right terminology for it, but I've definitely seen it where changing the power supply can make a difference to the appearance of subs from your camera. But yeah, those are some things to try out. Astro Mess, good evening. Good evening, mate. Nice to see you. Thank you for your feedback. No problem. Hopefully it was okay for you. Hey, hope you're good. I'm not doing bad, mate. Thank you. Hope the same for you. What's your advice when choosing post-processing software? Well, swaying towards PixInsight, but a finished photo looks good too. Ooh, right. If you feel like you're going to be in astrophotography long term, I'm just going to have to be honest with you. You need to buy a PixInsight, really. If you going back actually to what I was just talking about, things I wish I'd figured out sooner. That's one of them. For me, I wish I'd have figured out a lot earlier on the difference that good quality processing software makes to your images. I was never going to get the results that I wanted from the free software, sadly. It was always going to be behind, and I'm feeling like I'm leaving something on the table, which sucks when you're putting in all the effort to get the best, results you possibly can from your location. Why hold yourself back with software too, given that the piece of software and the add-ons you're probably going to need, to be fair, the RC Astro tools are the best in the business. That's my view on it, and I'm not alone. The cost of all of those added together is about the cost of a good filter, for example, and one's going to do a lot more for your astrophotography than the other. So for me, that's my advice to you. If you're serious about astrophotography long term, PixInsight, all the way. Gain and cooling and such. Yes, true. Make sure you're operating in HCG mode as well. That dramatically lowers read noise. The changing of that in the switch might even correct some issues. You never know. Check the voltage as well of your power supply. I know I just mentioned try a different power supply. That would probably change things on its own, but sometimes if things aren't getting enough volts, they can behave strangely. We'll try again. No worries, dude. Banding can be many causes. Also try different cables, as Tariq's just pointing out there. Same thing. Biscuit on water. Let's have a look. 80mm triplet, 294 MC Pro, L Ultimate, SIR, crop view containing 3.5 hours of 5-minute subs in 3 out of 5 seeing. Okay. Nice coloration. I feel like if you targeted with a yellow mask, some more of this this kind of orange skin kind of colour stuff down here, you could perhaps manipulate in a bit more red, which would add even just another step to this thing, which would get you a full-on rainbow effect going on. Perhaps along the brightest edges, it's a little touch too much green. I don't know. It's all a balancing act. It's still really attractive. So I will say that. Just take the feedback with a pinch of salt. Nothing what I'm saying here to anybody really is ironclad stuff. It's all just from my perspective. Overall, I like the appearance of the stars. They're good and natural. They've got some colour to them. Background is mostly flat. It looks very slightly like there's some remnant gradient. Across the image, it's lighter down here versus, let's say, this rift of dust. But yeah, there's a lot to like, mate. I think you've done overall a nice job in that one. You've managed the stretch quite well. You've managed the noise quite well as well. Good stuff. Elephant's Trunk 2x2 Mosaic from Gloppy. GT71 533mm. Okay, AM5N Optilong SHO 7nm. 40 hours. That's a serious project then, mate. Well done. So I'm assuming, have you gone for non-standard coloration, you know, leaving in some green deliberately on this one? Because it looks like you have achieved nice teals around here, leaning more towards like an indigo blue or something around there. But you've left a lot of regions green, which some people would be like, no, it's wrong. But I can, you know, I can see an argument for it sometimes if it's a deliberate thing. It's very attractive. It's got that kind of rainbow SHO going on. There's not much reds, I will say that. So perhaps more of these regions out towards the fainter extents could be pushed more towards red through masking and stretching the proper colour channels for that. Background is overall a bit bright and a little bit brown rather than more towards grey. But star shape, size, colour, all good. Looks well focused. Yeah, there's a lot to like, mate. There's a lot to like, and it'd be very hard to tell it were a mosaic. There appears to be a little bit of a cut-off in terms of like here, where this region appears to have a lot less O3 for whatever that might be. Maybe it just naturally is like that. I can't really remember, to be honest, the Elephant's Trunk, if it's just like that naturally. Newer camera linear SDKs. Yes. I've had that kind of thing before. Want to eliminate the idea that you have a faulty camera. Yeah. That's obviously the first things to do is just all the checks that you possibly can with stuff that you might have at hand rather than going for all the rigmarole of, you know, working through things with tech support. Glad there is a Luke live tonight, as it's been a while. It has, mate, yeah. Also have the Edge 11 on the Crab. Tried the Helix Nebula, very low down for me, but it seemed to struggle on the AF, getting good focus. Yeah, I thought about the Helix as well, to be honest, Richard, I really did, but I decided to go ahead with the original plan of shooting M33 on both my rigs, you know what I mean? I'll be back in just 2 seconds, chaps. I'll only be a moment. Let's pop you on to... Do we have the Skycam working? No, we don't, sadly. All right, I'll leave you on this moment. I'll be as quick as I possibly can. Oh, wow. Man, it is cold out there. Jeez. Right, sorry about that. I am back. Oh, let me try to catch up a little bit with the chat then. Where the heck were we? This is always the problem, where I'm falling miles and miles behind. I appreciate your patience with me though, guys. RAM is imaging. Heavy fog and icy wind. Oof. Yeah. If you read this before critiquing my photo, the Veil Nebula with an unmodded DSLR, be as harsh as you possibly can. Harsh feedback is how I've gone to where I am in a year. Okay, mate, no worries. I mean, I'm not going to be harsh just for the sake of being harsh, but yeah, I'll not hold anything back. That's fine. Let me refresh anyway, as we've gone most of the way through those images there. Looks like we've got a few more submissions. Good to see. Blimey, you guys have been active. Oof. Tell you what, it seems like you do enjoy the live critique streams. At least I'm seeing some engagement with them. You know what I mean? Let me just fire up my other window a moment and make sure everything's going okay. Yeah, looks like it's just snapping away merrily. Conditions are improving a bit. It's looking pretty good out there right now, actually. I'm happy to see that we're catching, you know, small amounts of nebulosity in these individual subs. That's always a good sign. You can see it weaving its way through much of the spiral arms of M33 there. So that's going to look pretty darn good. Okie dokie. What the heck? Casey. My goodness. Bloody heck, mate. Thank you so much for that, Casey. That's incredibly, incredibly kind of you. I really do appreciate your support. Oh, what a nice surprise that is, dude. Thank you. Blimey. How have you been, Casey? If you get the chance, mate, I'd love to hear. Always good to see it. It is, yeah. Oh, I'll let you know as well, Casey. I have been using your list that you sent to me on the email. I really appreciate that. I'm working through Kaiju number 8 right now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, definitely. I'll try to catch up with a few of these images. That's absolutely awesome. You're a bloody legend. FRI 500, 2600 MC, L para, 60 3-minute lights, or 2/3. Okay. So the immediate impression that strikes me with this is I actually really like the almost sunburst colour, like you'd see on a classic guitar or something, really, innit? The reds going out into the burnt oranges. Quite like it for this. So that is attractive. There's some green crept in the background regions, and particularly around this reflection nebula here and here. That shouldn't perhaps be there. Alnitak is a touch overworked for my tastes. I would have just let it be a bit brighter and more of a dominant feature in the image. That's just me, because everybody knows it. We all know what we're looking at. We know how demon bright it is. So yeah, I would perhaps have rather seen it a bit brighter than it is. But yeah, there's a lot to like. It's a touch over compressed again, as we can see. So there's a lot over compressed. I'm being very gentle by saying a touch. But in the context of it, what it's offered there, just the feedback I can give is about what I've given. I can imagine without compression, this would look really wonderful. There are good hints at stunning filamentary detail going on there, but we can't quite make it all out. Moon Pleiades occultation. Captured an image of the moon and then composited the two together, of course, to get the sense of apparent scale. That's useful, yeah. Pleiades 6 hours, and then the moon shot, however long it was. I like that, mate. It really does give you a good sense of the scale of what we're dealing with there, doesn't it? Cool. Yeah, cool shot. I can see that kind of thing in like a learning book to give you a demonstration of the scale of these things in night sky. Cool, yeah. I like what you've done. Thank you for sharing that one. Astrocop M45 with the C-Star S50, so a subsection of the Pleiades, 3,204 10-second subs. Damn. That's a lot of subs. A lot of detail as well, though, so it's had a nice effect. It looks very slightly soft and dreamy, but I can't complain too much. I really do like what you've managed with the, such modest equipment. Lots of colour, quite accurate colour as well. It looks nice. Overall, amazing to see what you can do with a smart telescope. Background's just fractionally brighter than I personally would like it myself, but as I said earlier in the night, I'd be lying to you if I said I hadn't set backgrounds like that myself at some point. Just added my first image to Discord, 60-second subs, any feedback welcome. Okay, mate, no worries. Be as harsh as you want for my photo. I want honesty too, mate. Yeah, awesome dudes. I would be the same, if I was putting my images somewhere for critique. I'd absolutely want the same. I just want it as it is, not sugar coated. Best way to learn. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys doing that. Like I say. Can anybody offer some advice on how to tame the RA and deck on a ZWO AM5N? It only take 3-minute exposures, bimbles along at 0.50, and then it jumps to 17 plus for no reason. Huh. That's very strange, John. Does it perform like this in response to, let's say, after a dither command or something like that? Or is it just, does it randomly in the middle of a sub-exposure, for example? That'd be the first thing to ask. And the next thing I would ask, I did have some issues with guiding on an AM5 at one point, tracked it down to power supply. They don't like lower than 12, shall we say, voltage. It really does need to be right up there, 12, 12.8, etc. That makes a difference on them. Technically, I have some videos. Fair enough, mate. Doing the Pac-Man in broadband, beautiful choice. Interested in the dust around it. DSLR is struggling with sensor aberrations as usual, but soon the torch will be over. It will, mate. When you get that 2600, you're going to be very happy. Morning, Luke. Greetings from Oz. Greetings there, Chris. Good to see you, buddy. SMA Sky, a bit late to the stream. Good to see you, dude. Tabugman, last time I checked in on live, you spotted a very impressive mustache. Looking at you, assume you've parked the Spitfire for good. Hang on, mate. We're still mustaching. Maybe not quite as impressive as the last mustache, I grant you. I've tamed it somewhat, but always makes me laugh, stuff like that. Slowly built up on my Astro rig, and for the price, really tempted by the QH5 Minicam 8. Quite rightly, yeah, it's a cracking camera, dude. As this would be my first Astro cam, am I making it more complicated than I need to? Nah, I wouldn't say you are, Ian. I think if you're going to go that route, it might also make sense to just dive in all the way and get the matching off-axis guider for it as well and everything, and just have a rig that you can transplant between all kinds of stuff if you want to go the mono route. If you have pretty good skies, though, like I know a good few portions of Australia do have a think about one-shot colour still. I've been imaging for ages and I still like one-shot colour most of all. I can absolutely respect what mono can do, and I can also, with an honest hand on heart, say that mono images can be better than one-shot colour. Still, you've got to have some enjoyment. And I just find one-shot colour more enjoyable for me to use, should I say, if I could even phrase things properly today. Nels Astro from the Daystar Quark. Shot this when we had all the geomagnetic activity a few days back. Ooh, cloudy sun, no aurora for me. Oh, God, mate, there's a story there. I really did try to see the aurora, up to the point where I was that determined to catch a glimpse. I was outside, stood there, middle of the night, eating a can of beans, as daft as it sounds, eyes locked to the skies. And rather than seeing a parting and some aurora, it just started raining on me, and I just thought, it ain't happening. Get yourself to bed, you fool. But I tried, yeah. Rover Valley Optics Horizon 72 ED, tripping up over my own tongue. Quark Chromosphere, Apollo M Max, 10% stack of 3000 frames. Okay. Phenomenal. That's really beautiful, mate. So much detail. Oh yeah, there's a lot to like about that. I'd be absolutely over the moon, mate, if I'd taken that shot myself. So well done. I really like the framing as well, by the way. Just how it's offered right there. Like a macro photo of an orange. Got to attempt to repair on one of my motors for the next Star 4SE. Ooh. I've noticed the replacement has a PCB on it with a capacitor, and the other part the original motor doesn't have. Being fairly new, I'm now getting to the point of revisiting previous targets with various imaging sessions. Do you keep old FITS files and restack, or just keep the masters? I just keep masters, mate. Yeah, I do try to not be a data hoarder as much as possible. But that's just me. I know some people, carefully archive everything they've captured, but if I'm just being honest with myself, I'm not that person. I just ain't going back and stacking stuff up after the fact. I'll take a look at the masters and that's about it. Oh, crikey. Bob. You're a legend, mate. Thank you so much. I have to run, Luke. Thanks for all the data on workflows. You've helped me, and I'm sure others immensely. Night, Luke, and gang, be safe. That's really, really kind of you, Bob. Thank you very, very, very much indeed for that. I truly do appreciate it. Yeah, I really do. Thank you, Bob. And thank you again, Casey, as well, by the way. I really appreciate you guys. yeah, so I will try to just catch up. My mind's scattered this evening. I'm convinced I'm getting unwell. Do you know what I mean? You start to feel that little bit of brain fog creeping in. Let me just figure out exactly where I was. Yeah, so me, I'm not a data hoarder. Although I could very easily talk myself into doing it. It's just if I'm being real, I'll never go back and restack that data with some other stuff I've captured. It's just going to sit there and take up space needlessly. So I just get rid of it, keep the masters. I'm going to attempt adding some salvage parts to the motor to get it working again. If not, $60 isn't horrible. That's fair, dude. Yeah, PixInsight it is. I promise, mate. Give the trial a go first, and the same for if you are, if you're looking at making the purchase all in one, one and done, buy once, cry once kind of approach. Have a look at the trial of PixInsight and the trial of the RC Astro tools. And if by the end of your 30 days or whatever it is, you're unhappy still, at least you've really given it a good go, and you'll know then. Do you know what I mean? Without even having laid out a single cent. So my gut feeling is, if you really do give it a good go in earnest and try out all sorts of different data and techniques, you're probably going to go, damn, I wish I'd bought this sooner, because that's certainly what I did. But yeah, I think it definitely make use of the trial, and then you'll know for sure. We're all different after all. One of my images had to be PNG to upload on the Discord. Got you. Well, that's good, Ilya. PixInsight and Astro was the biggest quality uplift I've ever had. Bro, the same. Exactly the same for me. Same advice from me. Get to PixInsight as soon as you can. Yeah. Yes, 100% Mike. I think I might be you. Spent too long struggling with DSS, GIMP, Cyril. Yeah. Definitely the same. PixInsight is frustrating, but at least I can get to where I want eventually. Yeah, that's the way to look at it. Haven't done much processing, but if you have plenty of storage space, I would keep everything, but I'm a data hoarder. There you go. Someone else, yeah. Be as harsh as you want. I did read this one. Got ya. Added my first image to the Discord with 533MC Pro, 6 sync subs. Any feedback welcome. We'll give you some, dude, for sure. Need to formulate a strategy on how to arrange everything. Nice seeing everyone who's doing the job in imaging. I stopped because I want to be back stronger rather than just keep doing it for fun forever. Okay. Fully understand that, Tariq. I think it's one of those things, even though you might have a lifelong love of astrophotography and astronomy and just an appreciation of the night sky in general, like anything, what you're looking to get from it's going to change over time, and how much time you have to put in and energy you have available to you is also going to change. And that's all just part of the game, isn't it? As I always kind of just try to think to myself, the pendulum swings. Sometimes it's going to swing away and things are just going to not really line up. It'll eventually swing back, and you'll be back in the pits enjoying astrophotography every minute you get. It's just waiting for those in-betweeny times to pass. The Tarbug man, anyway, sorry. I'm going off on random tangents again. 3-panel mosaic, 26-MC Pro, SV Bonnie SV550. About 50 megapixels. Whew. Hanley HA03, 4.5nm filter, 19 hours. Damn. That's nice, mate. Yeah, that's nice. Feel like you've controlled the stars really well. Tons of filament detail going on. Yeah, there's a lot to like. Background is a bit brighter than I like, personally speaking, but it looks dead flat. So you've done a wonderful job with however you've approached background neutralization, background extraction. The only bit of feedback I'm going to give you on this one is it looks like there's a little bit more stretch to be had in the hydrogen alpha. If you got the chance to stretch that just a touch further, you see some of these remnant filaments just creeping into view here. Here, for example, up at the top, we saw these really well done recently in an image by Pete's Astrophotography. I think it might have been some of Chuck's data perhaps or something like that, but it highlighted it to such an extent that it looked like a different target almost, like twice as broad. I feel like you've got nice rich data there, and there's possibly more to be had in terms of the HA, but the O3 looks quite nice and complete to my eye. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot to like on that Tarbug, man, so well done on there. Let me just catch up a touch. I think the time is very near. I should be back into it, really. Fair enough, yeah. Enjoying the Minicam 8, and it makes mono easy for the right focal length and FOE targets. Yep. Keep watching the live stream for inspiration or learning and just discuss. Nice seeing others' images. Good job, all. Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and it's Tariq. I get the same thing from it, mate. Even if I'm going through like a bit of an astro slump or something, like I feel like I kind of maybe am a little bit at the minute. I'm doing it. I'm still getting stuck in, getting some data. And more than anything, I'm just enjoying chilling out with you guys on the stream for a while, you know what I mean? So thank you, everybody who's taking part. I do appreciate it. I think everyone was saving up their images for the live stream. Thank you again, Casey, by the way. Blimey. You're doing excellent. That is awesome to hear. Very, very glad. Northumberland, 55 degrees, snow stopped, still cool. Tell you what, mate, and it's been a cold snap these past few days here in UK. It was as mild as anything a few days ago. And, geez, feel like I need another blanket on my bed these past few nights. It's been freezing. You well on your way, Sean? You 100% are, mate, yeah. Danny, nice to see you, Danny. Hope you're keeping well, buddy. How you doing? Greetings from Bavaria. Yeah, not doing too bad, Danny. I think I ain't got much to complain about, I'll be honest. Not much at all. Hope the same for you, of course, buddy, as always. Bill, my eyes immediately drawn to what is that a robin with a massive hair of plums? I like it. Yeah. The Cygnus wall. Anyway, got sidetracked very slightly. Is there any write-up on this? No. I'm assuming it's one-shot color bicolor. Taken with a... Right, I'm going to give you my guess. This is a 150 PDS. And a 585 camera. Looking at this format. That's where it's taken with. Yeah, we can't say for sure, but it looks like high quality, well-focused data. Good and smooth. It's been deeply stretched. I quite like the kind of dreamy coloration. It's non-standard, but I find it quite attractive on this shot. It's got something about it that, yeah, I like. The background regions are a bit brighter than perhaps they could be. It might look a touch more dynamic if you allowed some of the darker areas to really truly be darker, while letting some of these brighter areas shine that touch more. But you know what? There's a lot to like on this shot, so well done, mate. Good to see that, Bill. Siderium, best photo to date. First year of Astro. All right then, bud. So let's have a little look. 7 hours, unmodded DSLR. Unmodded, and you've captured all that. Crikey. Well done. Bought for exceptional scene, live in an elevation of 2200 meters. Whew. 3 nights because my horizon is really bad. Processed with BlurX, Cyril, and Photoshop. Okay. All right then. So just before your 1 year photo anniversary of astrophotography, yeah? Let's have a look at this one, the second shot. So, I mean, you've shot this with an unmodified camera, which is, you know, an exceptional amount of nebula to have captured in that scenario. So, well done there, I'm going to say right away. Star colours, lovely. Shape is not at all bad. There are some problems in terms of, so size, they look a touch soft. Overall, I'm going to say not a single star in the image looks truly pin sharp. Maybe that's what you were going for. I don't know. I remember you did ask for proper feedback on this, so I'm just going to try to give you it as I can. There's some dark artifacts on particularly, obviously, brighter stars. Not sure exactly what it is, but it is kind of distracting, even though it's small. You know, you can see these black flecks a lot among every single bright star. So that's a weird one. Small artifacting around this bright bugger here on the Witch's Broom. Overall, it's really quite nice. There is some use of masking, I think, that you've done where it's not quite worked perfectly. So like the blue oxygen 3 regions are very soft and subtle. The red hydrogen alpha regions look a little bit painted almost. Do you know what I mean? There's no refinement to them, kind of thing. They're just kind of blocked in there as color. So that's obviously something you're probably up against with the unmodified camera. So overall, mate, I know you've really probably been up against it with this, so I can definitely appreciate what you've done. So well done. I think it's properly worth a revisit down the line when you get yourself a modified camera or a proper Astro camera, of course, and see what you can do then, because you show a lot of promise with your control of color. So yeah, I'd love to see what you can do when you're not held back by gear quite so much, I would say. Good job, by the way, flattening the background. It looks mostly good. I'm not sure about this large patch of HA up at the top, whether that's accurate or not. But I'll just, I've seen it. Maybe someone else who's more familiar with the region than I am. I've not really spent that much time imaging the veil, to be frank. So maybe someone more familiar could point out whether that's accurate or not. But I think you've done overall a good job. Just leave you a fiery heart on that one, good sir. Colouring of a guitar on there, yeah, it would be, mate. Yeah, I remember the shot we were looking at, that sunburst. Dark Neo's Heart Nebula. Okay, Redcat 51, 294 MC Pro, L Extreme, 13 hours of data, 5-minute exposures, only a JPEG uploaded. Okie dokie, mate. Well, it looks like you've mostly evaded compression hell with this one, so it's not done too bad. Somehow it's survived. So the background is blue rather than like a space gray, if you like. So that's one thing. Much of the rest of the heart, though, is very nicely coloured. So I think you've overall done quite a good job with your approach to this. It feels well stretched. It's got some three-dimensionality through these subtle changes in tone and colour that you've introduced. Do you know what I mean? It's not all one value and flat. It's pretty dynamic, and it leads to an attractive shot. The core of the fish head is just on the cusp of burning out, but I think you've rescued it. So good job there. It is a bright region. Let it be bright. Same goes for the heart of the heart itself. Let these regions stand out. That's at least my view on it. Overall, mate, yeah, I do quite like it. It just needs this background neutralizing and perhaps more of the stars leaving in. Like there appears to be stars missing, or maybe 2 suppressed. I don't know. Yeah, I like it. By the way, for anybody who's not noticed, this neat little planetary nebula up here always cracks me up. It's just like chilling out next to its much bigger brother. Love it. I'll catch up with chat just a moment, by the way, guys. Thank you for the reply. Scope is 127mm triplet, 900mm. Thought long was better before I saw Luke's streams. I mean, it can be. It can be. Good to be on the stream. Good to have you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you on another stream. Minicam is on an 800 newt, so no worries. Yeah, got ya. Smart scopes are definitely raising the bar. It is a true fact. M45 is so good with the C-Star. Good to see you, by the way, Dustin. Always a pleasure. Same way with my AM5N. It's now in China for ZWO warranty repair. Damn. Oops. The dad stash. That's it. Became a dad instantly. The doctor just gave me this. He's gonna you're gonna want to stick that on now. Oh yeah, nice. It was as thick as a bag here. Had exactly the same experience minus the beans. Yeah. I were hungry, mate. You know what I mean? It's only my third image with the quark. Well, you're absolutely knocking out the park with the quark. I will say that, Richard. Regular sea aurora up here in Lozimuth, Mauritius. I'd love to see a mate, to be honest, like that. I mean, we had that. Obviously, everybody will remember the other year we had an incredible display of aurora. I really did make the most of that. Loved every single second of it. I pulled out like my fishing bed chair and I'm just laid on the lawn, tucked up, watching aurora. Magic. But I'd love to see them, truly strong. As you get them further north you go. That'd be wild. Thank you again, by the way, Bob. That really was very, very kind of you. What's your longest integration time for a single target? Ooh, good question, Tyler. That's hard to answer. Probably about 20 hours, I think. As a result of me and a friend, we were going after a target together, M81, M82. This were a while back. I think I'd be able to do a better job now, but yeah, at the time, we went after M81 and M82 together, and I think I put in about, if memory serves, maybe 18 hours or something like that, and he did about the same. But yeah, that's probably about it, unless there's something else I'm missing. Pixie Sight was a game changer, except for the green. Star Remover or StarXTerminator? StarXTerminator. Yeah, for me, every time. StarNet's good, don't get me wrong. So, if you're operating to certain budget constraints and you can't get StarXTerminator, then yeah, StarNet, it can absolutely do a good job. But StarXTerminator just leaves you with less gremlins left over, basically. It seems to be consistently dead accurate with its identification and removal of the stars without introducing further artifacts that you're going to have to deal with down the line. Feeling pleased with myself. I've been learning how to use Nina over the last few clear nights and finally got my rig all working. That's a big moment, Michael, so congratulations. Well done to you, mate. Headed to bed. Great stream as ever, Luke. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that, buddy. Regular sequencer or advanced, and yes, the help out there is amazing. He's going to show me up now and says, yeah, advanced. I'm still using regular sequencer. I get stuck on focusing with narrowband filters, a lot more challenging than on my old ASI Air. That's fair, mate. Need to go as well, says Tariq. Thank you for joining in, Tariq. Appreciate it, buddy. Enjoy everyone. Clear skies. No problem, dude. Always a pleasure. I had the 294MC and a 294MM Pro. I use AL Extreme. I've uploaded my Heart Nebula with the MC Pro. We just checked that one out. Thank you for sharing, dude. Liberty Astro, hello there. Hello there, mate. Good to see ya. Hope you're keeping well. For monochrome comet imaging, ooh. Would you shoot LRGB, etc., or would you shoot all? I would cycle it throughout the night, mate. Keep everything equal in exposure length. Yeah. That'd be me. Truthfully, I wouldn't bother imaging comets in mono personally. I would always just do it one-shot color, but that's just me. Same for planets, to be honest with you. I know that you can get perhaps a higher image quality ceiling with the mono approach, but bloody hell, mate, the difference ain't that much these days. So I'd go for the easier way of doing it. One-shot color if you've got the opportunity to try to do that. But yeah, Stephen, if you are going to have to do it with mono, LRGB,
just loop it and keep it going. That way, if anything changes, which it could, you're going to capture it and be able to work on it from that moment onwards with a completed data set rather than missing perhaps a channel or something silly like that. I'd love to stop, but Wednesday at 11, I'm off elsewhere. Have fun, Luke. No problem, dude. Yeah, it were a random time to go live, wasn't it? Got 3 rigs on the go tonight. Oof, about to pour on about 10 layers of clothes. Oh, man. Yeah, it is really darn chilly at the minute, isn't it? Got to FaceTime the kid who just started her life in another state. Damn, dude. Glad you're still going strong. See you all the next time. Thank you again, Casey. I'll catch up with you on emails, mate. I know you've probably gone now, but if you do catch this at some point. How's it going there, Ray? Nice to see you. Hey, Luke. Felix wants to use the big scope tonight. He probably does. I'll tell you what, mate. He's such a little rascal. He's so fun to be around now. Canada was -1C at one point. Their -1 is about 25 here. Chris says, I've just bought the Antlion narrowband set, 4nm for the 294mm Pro. What exposure lengths would you recommend? Bought 5 skies, I've been running 300-second subs, and my histogram seems a fair way from the left-hand side. Ooh, honestly, Chris, if you can get away with 5-minute subs, 3-minute, 5-minute subs, something like that region, you'll be fine. That'd be my gut feeling on this one. It's very rare these days that you'll need to go extremely long. If you've got at least a reasonable middling scope in terms of focal ratio and a modern camera, you're going to be okay. I have an image I'd like to upload, but it's too big of a file size because it's drizzle ×2. It would have to be resampled, sadly, mate, for me to be able to actually view it on here. I think it's like a 10 meg upload limit or something, which I realise is restrictive. But it is what it is. That's what we have on this right now. Let me just check out Stefan's Ghost of Cepheus. So this is near the Iris Nebula, if I'm not mistaken. 9 hours and 20 in LRGB, TubeTech IMX 571 and an Esprit 120 on a SEM 70. Lovely rig. And lovely results. Now, this is an example. I don't know if Stefan is here in chat. But this is an example of noise done perfectly. This is exactly how I would like to see noise in my own images. Basically, it's very fine grain. It's not all distracting. It looks completely natural. It's almost like how can I put it? It's almost like visual noise that you might see yourself in low light. Incredibly attractive image. Really, really, really astonishingly good processing job there, mate. I have to say, I think you've done a wonderful, wonderful job on that one. Really like it. Yeah, there's not a lot I can offer to this. This is definitely better than any image of the Ghost of Cepheus that I've ever taken. So yeah, lovely, absolutely lovely. This is John Walsh's Cocoon. Ooh, that looks staggering. 32 hours from Ball5 with the 700D, so a DSLR and a 150 PDS. 22 hours broadband, 10 hours with the Leviathan Spectral Pro filter, a new filter by an Irish company. Thanks for the advice. Looking forward to trying out 26 MCP tomorrow. Jeez. That's beautiful, you know, John. I'll tell you what, mate, if you're producing images of this quality with a DSLR, a relatively old DSLR, I'd say as well, a 700D. It's no spring chicken. I'm sure you won't mind me saying that. Just, you know, things have definitely moved on in DSLR space. Well, mirrorless space now. Crikey, mate. Who knows what you're going to be capable of with that 2600, because it's a big step up in terms of what you can do, I think. Fantastic. Really, really beautiful stuff. If you want me to give you one little pointer on this, I don't know if it's monitor calibration differences or our eye
differences, you know, between you and me. The background looks fractionally biased towards purple to my eye, and there also appears to be slight glows along the edge. Now I don't know if that's glows from the camera itself. I don't know if the 700 is truly glow free, or whether they've crept in as a result of something else, but there's like small glow here, small glow here, up this side, bit of a break in it there, more there, etc. But I'm just being mega nitpicky there. It's a stonking image. So yeah, well done, really tastefully processed, beautiful colour. Yeah, fantastic, mate. Excuse me. Let me just get caught up. Couldn't agree more on Pixinsight Sight and RC Astro tools. Best money I've spent in Astro. Yeah, same here, Chris. Like I say, I do. Obviously, I shout them out in my tutorials and stuff. It's with good reason now. I've got such confidence with them. I just truly do feel that someone who's serious about getting the absolute best from the data needs to go that route, and I don't feel like I'm giving bad advice at all when I say that. You know, get the Pixinsight Sight, get the tools, enjoy. 6 months down the line, you're going to forget what it cost you. You're just going to be enjoying processing your data the best it can be. The longer you let it hang over your head like the sword of Damocles, like, you're probably just going to wish you'd just bought it sooner when you do eventually go down that route. Astro Mess QC from Seb. 60 of each, SH and O, 3-minute subs, 533, and a 72 ED doublet. Okay. Beautiful. It's kind of a non-standard colour. It's leaning very slightly more towards cyan than teal, I think, but I actually quite like it. I like the appearance of that. So, yeah, tastefully done. I feel like it's well stretched. It's still allowed to be brighter than the surrounding nebulosity. The whole thing stands on its own. As a zoom, it's a perfectly acceptable view of this really beautiful region. There's a lot of interest going on. There's no part of the frame that feels dead particularly. You know, like sometimes if you misframe things a little bit, parts of the image can feel a bit surplus. I don't get that from this. So yeah, I like it. There is a lot to like. Star color's good as well. As well as I don't feel like they're overly processed or anything like that. They're present and pleasant. Good stuff. Thank you for sharing that, mate. Astro MSQC again, Seda region. I'll just catch up a tiny bit more with chat if I can. Hey, Luke and chat. First time I got to be here during the live streams. Hello there, Valerie. Thank you for joining in. I do appreciate your time. Thanks for the feedback. No problem, buddy. Next Astro upgrade with 26 run MC Air. HA region is accurate. Got you. But I heavily brightened it just because I was excited about seeing it all. I fully appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair enough, dude. Daniel Loads says, evening, Luke and everyone. Evening, Daniel. Good to see you, mate. Was deep in the red zone for the Aurora next to Lake Ontario. Cloud night 1, cloud and rain night 2. So at least it changed for you. No problem at all, Stefan. Thank you for sharing that spectacular image. 3 rigs is always fun, and you raised the bar in the cold. I'm still in shorts here in Texas. No way. Is it still that warm in Texas? Jeez, that cocoon is with a DSLR. It is, mate, yeah. And I thought my photo was impressive. Thanks so much, Luke. No problem, John. Glow at the edges is a byproduct of the mirror box. Okay, yeah. I've got a 700D. Let me tell you this, my results were never as good as yours with a 700D, that's for damn sure. So yeah, I really appreciate what you've managed with that thing. This is nice. So let me just take it in a moment. So at glance, first glance, it's pleasant. It's a nicely framed image. It's interesting. I will say the stars look a little bit out of place, and by that, what I mean is they appear to be floating above the image rather than part of the image. So it's like they're on a separate layer all of their own or something. It's not coherent anymore. Who knows what's done that? I think it's accentuated more by the fact that some of the stars have got little shadows underneath them. So I don't know exactly what's gone on to cause that, but it is overall a pleasant image. I feel like it could maybe have stood a little more tone added to this, though, rather than just the kind of like coppery brownish reds consistently like everywhere. But it is still, it's an attractive image, and it's probably just a difference in tastes between the person doing the editing on the day and me on the day. Always interesting to see what other people cook up, you know what I mean? Bob Lugaga, the off-grid gamer. Bob Lugaluga. Sorry, I totally butchered your name. I bought my scope and camera, and I've been waiting for weather to be good enough here in the Pacific Northwest. Well, I hope it's good enough for you soon, dude. That's it's an exciting time when you've got some gear you want to test out. Been a while. Howdy, everyone. Hello there, Ben. Nice to see you. 27 Cs. What? That's unbelievable, Mike. Here I am thinking it's pretty warm indoors where I am in my observatory warm room at 17.5 degrees. I'd do you a swap if you want. I'd love to have your weather right now. Neil S, by the way, this is offered without explanation as to what's going on. So this is the better version of the earlier image that we saw. I recognize it now. So it's re-uploaded, thankfully. All right. So there's a lot to like with the coloration. It stands out. It looks like a dynamic image. There's also some pointers I'd like to give with how the image has appeared, and it's like final form, and it looks flattened a bit too much. So there's almost no tone descriptors as to what's going on in this region. That could be flat. This all could be flat kind of thing, if that makes sense. Same for down here. A well-processed version of this would give you some indication of three-dimensionality, what's nearer to you, what's further away, basically. It's not easy to do, but I just want to point it out and say, that's something that you could be mindful of, could be looking for in your own processing jobs if you do see it. There are some flecks of like strong, almost magenta creeping in some regions of this image, which I'm not a fan of for this area. It almost reminds me of Roa Fucus, where it looks in place, because it's a large reflection region. Here it just looks a bit artifacty. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say on that. There's obviously some remnant stacking artifact as well. Looks like a misrotation between frames, whatever's gone on there. So bit of a tighter crop might help get rid of some of those as well. Masking has been a mite aggressive when it's been used for alterations to the color. We can see some like dead regions where it's a nice color here, nice loose color, going through an almost muted color here, then getting back to color once again. So it's just things like that do stand out when I'm looking. So I hope that's useful feedback to you, Neil. If you're aware of these things, someone else has pointed them out or whatever. It's easy to become blind to your own image. I know for sure, because I've definitely done it. So hopefully having these kind of flaws pointed out helps you avoid them in the future. But overall, when viewed like in the context it's offered, it's still attractive. So thank you for sharing that. You have clear skies. I've got clouds and fog for maybe a week. I'd still take the warmth, to be honest, Mike. At this point, I feel like we've been plunged into a deep freeze this last few days. Riggy, NGC 6888. the crescent. Moved from a 127 Mac to a Dwarf free. Very new at this, using Serial to Stretch and Photoshop. Okay, 30 seconds subs, 1 hour through the dual band filter. So this is a Dwarf free smart telescope. Honestly, not at all bloody bad for like I said, such a modest rig. Like we've pointed out before, people working with these smart telescopes, you've not got tons of options. You know what I mean? You've got what you've got, and you either drive to somewhere with better skies or take more photos, or ideally both. And then the rest of it's down to your processing. And I think you've done a good job overall, dude. Given it's 1 hour data, you've brought up much of this background structure. It looks like you've stretched it to about the limits of what it could take. There is some mottling going on. I'm sure you're probably already aware of that, but I think you've handled overall the challenges inherent in data, such as the stuff that you get from smart telescopes, quite well. So yeah, good to see that. Thank you for sharing. Imaging M33 tonight, using an autofocus for the first time, says Greg. Using the Gemini, so hopefully it doesn't let me down. I don't see why it would, Greg. And good on you on getting autofocus set up that first time. It's such a bloody nice thing. Once you can actually trust your autofocus and just let it do its thing, it would be hard to go back to doing it manually now, I'll tell you that much. Biscuit on water. This is Ilya, taken during August, right around my 21st birthday. Happy birthday for August then. We're a little bit late, but better late than never. With an Edge HD 8 at 2000mm focal length, 294 MC Pro, 10 hours of the best data with a mix of 60 and 3-minute subs. Okay. With the DIY wooden splint to fit the Vixen on the Losmandy plates. Used PixInsight, made a few variations. Okay. It's nice. Yeah, it's very nice. I see what you mean. You could have knocked it back a little bit on the denoising. I'm inclined to agree. But overall, it's it's a pleasant shot to look at. I feel like there's a small amount of hallucination that might have happened as a result of deconvolution, AI-powered deconvolution or similar, as the amount of flocculent details looks a little too regular as it goes through this image. Hard to be certain on that though, because it is fairly subtle. Stars look a little bit big, a little bit orby, but they're not that unpleasant, to be fair. It's just some of them that have got large glows outside of them, which are slightly distracting. So if it was possible, that'd be one of the things you could work on maybe a little bit there, just handling those bright stars in this region just a bit to make it a bit more obvious when you're looking at a galaxy nearby. But yeah, there's a lot to like. I feel like the colour is very, very, very subtle as well, which I can take it or leave it. I do like that appearance sometimes, but I feel like it could stand maybe just a smidge more saturation. Just on my screen anyway. Background is mostly flat with some edge brightening going on. So I think you've overall done a nice job. Thank you for sharing that. Tony Brown. Hi everyone, been a while. Hello there, Tony. Moving house, new dark skies, good stuff. Cornwall. Need more clear skies. Added my Andromeda, taking Monday. Clear skies, everyone. Super. We'll take a look at that in a minute then, Tony. Thank you for sharing that, buddy. No problem, Tez. I'll tell you what, we will just try to see how many we've got caught up on, because I realise I can't stay down here all night, sadly. Have a good imaging session tonight, Luke. Thank you, Daniel. That is that's really, really kind of you, buddy. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna just get through a few more of these. I probably will have to pick up the pace very slightly. Don't want to leave Chloe handling Felix on her own too long in case he's waking up or anything. He is a little bit of a rascal for that throughout the night. I've watched for a while and thought I'd join the Discord. Appreciate that. First image with 533 MC Pro. Any advice? Welcome. And struggling with wherever this box is around the outside. Gotcha. I see what you mean. Well, it looks like there's some stacking artifacts left over that you've not cropped out. Probably. So I'd start there. You've also got a problem with... Well, it looks like there's a problem with focus. Obviously, in this extremely stretched image that you've shared with me here, you can see there's pinprick of a star and then a halo around each one, almost like a one wave defocused image or something like that, or 10 waves, whatever it'd be. But the main image, yeah, it's defocused. I'm almost certain to tell you that. So there's a purple bias to your background. I like the colour in the galaxy, but I feel like it overall looks a bit washed out, you know, like a bit flat as well. The core of Andromeda's dramatically brighter than the rest in reality, so I usually like to see it processed that way. Let it be bright. But yeah, overall, thank you for sharing that, Scott. It's there's been interesting opportunities to learn from you sharing that data, so thank you. I'll go back and decrease the star size. Oh, I see, still here, Ilya. Got you. As it is a bit distracting. Yeah, that's all I was getting at. This is flooded with tiny little background galaxies, and when a lot of the background galaxies are like perhaps almost smaller than some of the stars, it can be a little bit of one of those cases where you can't see wood for trees. But yeah, overall still a nice shot, so thank you for sharing that. M31 from C. Jeff, R7 unmodified, a RF 70-200 lens, locked down at f4 200mm. Okay, 89 90-second subs, 100 ISO. Overall, not too shabby. Star shape, size, color, not bad. It's noisy, don't get me wrong, but it's not anything unrescuable. It could be passed through some noise reduction, and that'd really bring things up a step. Yeah, a lot to like, I think. You've applied a good deep stretch to it. You've managed background gradients well. It appears to be mostly free of gradients. Just... Nah, I'm going to say it looked like there were a hint of lightening towards the bottom corner, but it's perhaps more just my eyes playing tricks on me. You know, you've looked at a screen too long and you start to see things that aren't there. There is a bit of a green halo around the whole of M31, I will say that. You can see like this green belt around the whole thing. But yeah, overall, mate, well done. It's never easy when you're dealing with uncooled, unmodified cameras, for sure. Speedrun Astro, that's it. Brother, man, good to see you, Kib. How you doing, mate? And good luck for tomorrow still, innit? Yeah. While I'm here, thanks a lot for the content. It helps a lot. No problem, Valerie. Cheers from the southeast of France. Well, cheers to you too. Thank you for joining in. Oh, mate. Family first while you teach them Astro. Thank you so much, Astro Vino. That's terribly kind of you, mate. It really, really is. I massively appreciate that support. That's huge. Thank you, mate. Truly, truly, truly thank you. That's very, very kind of you. You're a legend. VDB152. This is a lovely target. 24 hours of imaging. Wasn't the easiest of targets. You can say that again. Yeah, I've imaged this thing before. It ain't easy. EDPH3 with 0.75 reducer, 533 MC Pro. Okie dokie. dual narrowband filter, and I'm assuming some broadband in there as well to, yeah, 402 3-minute subs for broadband, 40 5-minute subs for narrowband. Damn. Process fully in PixInsight. Okay. What would you do differently in my shot, Luke? Ooh, okay then. Right, let's let it load up. So there's a lot that I like about this already. I feel like the colour you've got, particularly up the column, fantastic. And the neighbouring dust in this background is really well done. I know how faint this fleck of HA is that goes through here, as well as this particular small nebula here in its HAO-free regions. So I feel like you've done a cracking job on all of those. You've ended up with a darkened rift at the the tip of the... Oh, blimey. Catch you before you need to drop. Always great to catch up and see you and your family doing. Thank you, Mike. Bloody heckers. Talk about support, guys. I could not possibly tell you how much that means to me. Thank you so much. I really, really, really do mean it. And I hope that you know it. It's truly appreciated by me and my family. So, yeah, thank you. It truly is. You always knock me over with your support. I don't know what I do to deserve it. I don't feel like I do. But all the same, thank you. Just while my brain's still on it, I will come back to these, by the way. I want to let you know I do bloody appreciate that so much. While it's still in my head, on Ram's image here, this is a distracting segment of the image for me. So there's a dark rift right in the middle of the frame, right at the tip of the brightest part in the frame. So that would have to be tackled for my tastes. In an otherwise really quite attractive image, that's a little bit of a knockdown for me. Other than that, you've handled background gradients wonderfully. You've applied a really deep stretch to it overall. So there's a lot to like there. There's a small green bias over much of the image. It's fractional, but it is there. And some of the stars I feel like have been pushed too far back, perhaps as a result of generalized hyperbolic stretch on the stars alone or something like that. To the point where it looks like they've been squashed within their own dispersion, if you like. Oh, crikey. Astro Nook as well, coming in with the donation. Bloody hell, mate. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Astro Vino. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Astro Nook. Really do appreciate it, chaps. That's, you're above and beyond kind. I'm completely bowled over. Bloody heckers. It's a really, really pleasant image, Ram, overall, mate. So I hope, you don't mind the feedback that I've given you there on that one. I wouldn't change much, mate. It's just more, some of these stars appear to have been shrank within their own dispersion. I know it's a balancing act, because if they were too big, I'd be saying these stars look too big, and, So it probably seems like you can't do right for doing wrong, but genuinely, I'm just saying it as I see it there. There's a lot to like. So overall, I'd like to say well done on what you have achieved there, because it's a bloody hard target. So yeah, I'm right there with you on the struggle on that one. A GHS arcsine stretch for the stars. Gotcha. It did look like that kind of thing, so I'm glad I guessed correctly on that one. It was just a guess, but... Jean Guillemon, I hope I'm getting your name correct there, by the way. 66 5-minute lights, FRA 500, 26 MC, and LQEF. I really like the at a glance of this one, by the way. The background being blue on this side, and then more of a natural brownish grey colour here. It looks jarring at first, but I'm almost having an argument with myself as I look at this image, because I know it appears to be wrong, but I actually quite like it. From an artistic sense, it works. Yeah.
I wish it was slightly less compressed and I'd be able to see better on this one, because it does look like such a pleasant shot. One of those where I actually don't mind a bit of extra colour. Do you know what I mean? Hey yo, how's it going, Nathan? Good to see you. Daniel's good to see you back live streaming again. Thank you, mate. There's no imaging here tonight due to very heavy snow. I've got 25 centimetres here in Aberdeenshire. What? That's wild. I tell you what, mate, I wouldn't mind seeing some snow, at least for Christmas Day or something this year. I know it's a bit disruptive, but you got to let me be at least a little bit romantic. I'd love to have a snowy Christmas for my boy, so he can see that. Go run. Sorry, fab content as ever. Thank you, by the way, Claire, as well, for your support tonight. Really appreciate it. And yeah, catch you when I catch you. Another one from Sham. Same scope. This one looks a bit mottled. It's hard to see again because it's so compressed. It's like blocky. It's almost like a Roman mosaic, like a tile mosaic, with the amount of compression that's gone on. It looks excess textured and a bit blocky. So I can't judge that one. Unfortunately, there's just not enough to see. But thank you all the same for sharing it. Just sent my image over. No worries, Nathan. We'll take a quick look at yours, buddy, as well. Thomas, lens a lot. So lens a lot. Space Cat 51, 533C, Focus Cube 3. Cool. And an L para. Ooh, a UV-IR cut as well. So the background is brown. That's the first thing that I notice. It's like brown-green, in fact. There's something that's made its way into the bottom side of the frame in streaks. Did you image this perhaps as it left like a tree line? And a few of those frames got in. Stars. Oops. Hang on. Why can't we zoom again? There we go. Stars appear devoid of colour. Mostly. Which is sad to see. They're either white or they're slightly yellowed orange. So I'd like to see a bit more star colour. The galaxy itself has been pushed towards orange pretty strongly. There is definitely more in there that's possible. It's just the whole thing has been skewed somehow at one point or another in processing. So those are the things to really address first, I think, in the image, if I'm just being honest with you. Other than that, it's going to be more refinements in terms of the appearance of some of these brighter stars, if at all possible, but they're not that distracting because there isn't that many of them. But thank you for sharing that. It's another opportunity for us all to learn from seeing these things. Let me just quickly check my session is still going. It is. We're doing all right. We're a few subs deep. Still exposing, still working. Other rig's still going. It's all systems go. Apologies, by the way, guys. I'm losing my voice a touch here. Tony B grabbed 4 hours on Monday. Okay, UV-IR cut only. William Optics, Zenith Star 61 and a 533 MC Pro. I love the colour in the Galaxy. That looks really, really natural. I like that a lot. The background has pushed towards a light bluish purplish colour, so there's definitely a background bias to be dealt with. It does look free of gradients though, which is a major positive on the shot. I like the star colour that you've achieved. It's subtle, but there definitely is some differentiation between the colours of those stars. And the shape and size of them ain't bad at all either. They're quite well managed. Yeah, there's a lot to like. There's a lot to like. I'd like to see the black point very slightly darker for my tastes on my monitor on this day. But, you know, this is one of those things where you have to set it for you, of course. Were you able to image 3i Atlas? No, mate. I saw extremely briefly Lemon before it went behind the houses. But other than that, no, I haven't managed to see any of the interesting things going on just lately. I've just been quietly observing.
Great stream again, Lee. Gotta leave now. Cheers. No problem, Tony. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. Damien K is testing his alt-as limits. Ooh. I love seeing what Damien's been up to. He's using some dream equipment, you know what I mean? These great big Newtonians on Dobsonian mountains. Single 30-second sub. A single sub. Oh my god. This is a 30-second sub. Jeez, man. Wow. That's wild, you know. One 30-second sub looking like that. Goodness gracious. That's absolutely storming, Damien. Some very slight star elongation on the left-hand side corrected. Gotcha, buddy. I appreciate the total honesty on that one. I would never have noticed if you hadn't said as well. Beautiful. I love the amount of detail you can see on the back edge right here. I'd love to see maybe like just a tight close-up on this alone. I think that would look fantastic. But your image is wonderful, as is. Single sub with aberration inspector for completeness. Oh yeah, I got you. Very, very slight in it, the elongation. I mean, it's next to nothing. Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that, Damien. Don't know if you're still here, mate. Thanks for the feedback, Luke. No problem, mate. IC342 in the zone of avoidance, covered by dust lanes. That's why the image is a brownish colour. So IC342, that is the one we were just looking at, innit? It doesn't have to be that brown, though, I would say. It's known as the hidden galaxy. I know what you mean. It is. There's a lot going on, but this is definitely incorrect colours. I'm not meaning to be like pushy or anything, but I just want to point out that this is not correct colours, and you know, we need to be honest and accurate with these things if we can, where possible. Veil Nebula with the Vespera 2 smart telescope. Wow, okay, still very much a novice in terms of processing, so there are definitely things that could be done to the original data which would lead to much better results. Okie dokie. Yeah, I tell you what, smart telescope, not too bad at all. Noisy, definitely. But there's a lot there. I don't know how long the integration is, though, did he say? I'm guessing not too long. But still, pleasant to see. Thank you for sharing that. Nice to see you, Photon Voyager. Another one from Thomas, M33 with a Teleview 76. No flattener, no filter. Okay. This is yeah, this is nice in terms of the color of the galactic plane. Loads of detail to see, so that's lovely on that one there, Thomas. The background is definitely biased towards like a light blue overall over much of the whole thing, which is just a touch distracting and slightly bright. Star size and color is good on this. Shape, there appears to be some eccentricity across you know, much of the frame. I don't know if you can make that out, just going horizontally across. It's not much. I realize I'm being very nitpicky, but I'm just trying to point these things out for anybody else looking. You can see very slight oloid appearance of those. Overall, there's a lot to like. I feel like if anything could be changed for my taste, other than the aforementioned bits, just in terms of the galaxy itself there, just a fractional reduction in green values to push it back towards more neutral colours, I would say. Very nice though, overall. Thank you for sharing that one. I know it's perhaps not as easy as many people might initially suspect, M33. It's quite low surface brightness. Joined the stream late. Hope I didn't miss critique of my photos. Possibly. I'm trying to think now if we have looked already or not, mate. I'm a little bit lost in the source at the minute. I'm 2 million images deep. Losing my voice. Losing my mind as well, equally quickly. Andromeda with the Vespera 2 as well. Nice. So there's a big background bias of colour here towards like a greenish grey. If that could be neutralised, this would stand out all the more. I feel like SCNR would probably get rid of much of that without too much damage if it was carefully applied. Focus and star size and colour looks good though. Could be some more colour in the galactic plane, but it's hard to say how much you can push this, given it's already quite noisy. I don't know if you've used noise reduction or not. But yeah. Don't hold back when you get to my image. I could use some fresh eyes. I feel that, Nathan. Vespera 2 again, so Orion. You're really making this Vespera work for you, mate. There's some stacking artifacts crept into this one, of course. A little bit down in the corner there, like unresolved. Low SNR bands, etc. in the corners. Perhaps a more aggressive crop would have been applicable here, but overall it's quite nice. Bit of a background colour bias going on. Slight purplish nature to this one. Bit of a greenish bloom to the stars. Looks, I want to say, like it's fractionally missed focus on this. It's not quite crisp. The stars look very slightly globby. On the other images you shared from that same setup, it looked just a touch sharper than that. So yeah, thank you for sharing though, all the same. Saturn and Rhea, okay. 24-inch Dob, 8,000 mil focal, just a cool 8,000 mil focal length. Crikey. IR850, 5 stacks derotated. Hint of Cassini division at close to edge on. Whew. Goodness gracious. Stonking. What's this little feature here? Pimple. Do you know what I mean? Is it an artifact? Is it present on as a feature on Saturn's, you know, clouds? Is it a moon passing by, or I don't know. Very strange though. Awesome to see that. You can really see this the difference in brightness as well between what looks like the north and south poles. Another one from Jean. Hopefully this isn't too compressed. Sadly it is. I love the colouring though, it's extremely dramatic. And maybe this close up we can see a bit more. It looks a bit overdone. Now I'm actually seeing it a bit up close. I do like a bright presentation sometimes, but this is I don't know, I feel a little bit flying into imagination land for me on this one. So I'm obviously process images for you. Just for me, I feel like it's just a bit too much. Nice though. All the same. One from Para. Rhea's Shadow. Oh, Rhea and Shadow. Donkey. Sorry, I missed that, mate. I literally read it out aloud as well, didn't I? That is. I wish, basically, Damien. I'll say that, mate. I bloody wish I could make captures like that. Ball 7. Have you, by the way, Damien, since you're still here, mate, have you tried SharpCap Pro's planetary live stacking feature on your wonderful big rigs? Jeez, mate, I can't imagine what things look like through your rig on that kind of thing. They've just updated it again with some new sharpening features. It can be really dialed in quite well now. I just thought you might like to take a look if you hadn't already seen it. Para, anyway, ball 7, 79 2-minute lights, and then 26 more 3-minute lights, just under 3 hours. Okie dokie. Oh, this is the one that was drizzled. Got ya. This is resized for us, I suppose. Pixie Sight and the RC Astro plugins. Loads of star colour. Really, really, really nice star colour, in fact, on this. Shape and size isn't unattractive either. They're allowed to be different from one another, and it gives us a sense of what we're looking at. If I can give you one little bit of feedback on this para, I would add, as mad as it sounds, at least in these brighter regions of the Pleiades there, just a fractional, tiny smidge, just a hair of a smidge of green to push it slightly more towards blue itself rather than tinted towards purple, very slightly, which it is right now. It's still mega nice, so, you know, don't let me take anything away from your image. Your background looks lovely and neutral coloured as well, so you've done a fantastic job there. It looks mostly gradient free, except for there is that slight pitting where the Pleiades has been pushed back into like an excavation there, but it's minor. And overall, it's a really attractive shot. So well done. Now I'll have a look. Move to a new place early next year, and the scope will remain set up so I can stream it. Super. Yeah, that'd be sick, mate. I know that someone asked me to look at their image just very recently, so I'll just check that out, and then I am gonna have to bounce. I don't think I can get through these 4 here, can I? It's only been 4. Nathan's Wolf Cave. Nathan! Oh! Damn. Let me have a good look around this, mate, a minute. So, it's really nice. If you did want feedback on this, Nathan, or did you not? Do let me know, mate, and I'll give you. Oh, don't hold back when you get to my image. Got you. Okay, right then, Nathan. So it's beautiful. Let me just start by saying that. The things that I like, you've applied a wonderfully deep stretch, and it's allowed the object to speak for itself about its position. You know what I mean? It really looks 3-dimensional. We can see that this appears to be closer than the rest of it. This appears to be over the top of this rift of hydrogen going through this frame. I really like, you know, how you've achieved that from this shot. There are some problems with lack of colour throughout much of this. So you saw earlier on the image from Ram Abraham, where he'd taken this with a small scope. It had a lot more of this kind of coloration going on through the core, really, of this whole pillar, which looked really attractive, and it allowed it to come out in some of the background dust as well, rather than it being just more of a neutral grey, like you've got here. I love that you've got some, flecks of colour as well in there. Those would be the things that I'd be looking to try to change, because this almost could be mono. Do you know what I mean? It could be like monochrome luminance only for a lot of this this lighter stuff. There appears to be some horizontal banding going on through much of this HA. Now it looks slightly artifacted to my eye. I don't know about to you. This looks really natural and beautiful and wonderful, and I can't say enough good things about the pillar itself. This looks very slightly overworked, if I'm just going to be brutal. You asked me to be brutally honest, so that there it is. Like, there's flecks here that look a bit shonky. So I'd say it's really hard to argue what to do on this one, because it'd be just from my perspective, and who the hell am I to talk anyway? It's still a friggin' wonderful image. I'd just say dial it back a hair on that one. On the sharpening, I should say. I think the brightness is wonderful as it is. You've stretched it really nice and deep and effective. It just looks like there's some artifacting going on in terms of those horizontal bands, and a little bit like extra detail, which doesn't look quite accurate, if that makes sense. I don't mind what you've done with the stars mostly, but I feel like some of them are over sharp. I hope that's actionable feedback for you. And please don't take it the wrong way. I still think it's absolutely wonderful. It's just you asked for as much feedback as I could give, so I pointed out everything I could see in the shot. It's really interesting how this can look so different. You know what I mean? I like what you've done overall anyway, so I just think like there's some bits there that can probably be helpful. Yeah, let it rip. I really appreciate that, mate. You know, when you're so open to hearing just wherever my brain is saying at this point in time, mate. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Yeah, there's so much you've got like lovely with this. So please don't be put off at all. I think it's stonking. Really, really fine image. It's just those are the things that I would try to change personally, given it is such bloody nice data that you've captured there. Jim, good to see you, Jim. What's the name of this target? It's stunning. Ouch. Well, Nathan's got it down as the Wolf's Cave. I know it is a VDB 152. That's his. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But I agree, it's a stunning target, especially when it's done in such like a stark manner as Nathan's got here. I will say as well, Nathan, just for the sake of while we're here, I actually really like the again, to use that term, it's like an artistic feel that you've achieved with the split through the image, with exactly how it's framed and cropped to appeal to like the human sense of aesthetics. This darker region here and this brighter region here, and what's offered by that. Very, very nice. Orion and Pleiades, last one I think after this. So this is God, I'm in pain. Oh, my muscles ache. Samyang 135 f2 and a 585C from TubeTech with an UV IR filter. 2 hours on each. Nice. Loads and loads of dust in these. I think there's more in this data. I'm going to say that to you, Martin. Yeah, there's definitely more in this data. So you'd pull out some more of it immediately by just a little bit of a darker black point. I'm not saying clip it or anything like that, but just lower it down a bit more and it'll allow the rest of the image to, you know, by its nature, stand out all the more without losing this dust. I'm sure you'd be able to maintain all this wonderful dusty stuff you've captured. And both could stand a touch more saturation as well, I think. That'd be hopefully something you can work on. But the lovely as they are, final one from, one more, sorry, as well after this. Cone Nebula and Hubble's Variable from Biscuit on Water, Ilya. Hello again. Recently taken with the SV Bonnet 80mm triplet setup. 5 hours of 5-minute subs with the L Ultimate. City Skies. Has some strange halos showing up on brighter stars. Gotcha. Yeah, I've definitely experienced that myself, so I know what you're on about there. I love Hubble's Variable there included. That's wonderful. Of all the images you've shared tonight, Ilya, this is my favourite. I don't know if you're still here, but yeah, I want to say this is actually really nicely done. I like it. Star shape, size, colour, all well managed. Black points set well for me. There's nothing really standing out that I feel like needs tackling. You've already mentioned, of course, there is some... Jeez, excuse me, sorry. Oddness with the stars, so, we don't need to dwell on it. Yeah. I like it. I think you've done a bang-up job on that one. Very pretty. Yeah, star colours do stand out on that one. They're not taking over or anything like that, but they're adding to the whole image. It's like, I don't want to sound all arty-farty. It's like... Imagine a concert of musicians and someone's violin's tuned too high or something. It stands out and it's like, what's going on? You know something's wrong. Whereas this, everything's in tune, everything's at the right volume. It's just working well. Coherent. NGC 7023, the Iris. Okay, EvoStar 72 ED, IR cut, EQ6, 585 MC Pro, 170, 1 minute subs in RGB. Gotcha. From Greece as well, no less. Now, I expect the bit of fringing is just from the fact that it's a ED doublet. I actually owned one of those 72 EDs. I quite liked it. There's a small amount of kind of squirrely, excess detail-y stuff going on in this that's as a result of probably AI-powered deconvolution being applied while the image is possibly partly stretched. I don't like the way that kind of thing looks when I see it, but you know, I'm just pointing it out so that you could recognize it if you saw this in your own images. It is very attractive though overall when it's viewed, as I've said before, using that same phrase in the context that it's offered like this. It's really, really nicely done, to be fair. Lovely color as well in this dust. It's just right. I think you've done a good job of processing the color in that. Much of the dust is lovely and soft as well. Looks good. Obviously, things you could change. You could allow this to be very slightly more towards blue than fractionally purple, like it is in the car. It ain't much, but I can see it a little bit on my monitor. Black point's set pretty damn good. There's some tiny remnant stacking artifacts that's been left in the image. Not much. And of course, as we've mentioned, probably can't really be helped without some mass manipulations, but the slight halos from it being a EvoStar doublet. But yeah, lovely image. Thank you for sharing that. I think we'll have to wrap things up at that. To be honest, I'm absolutely destroyed. As always, I think it's been a useful session. Come away from that feeling like my eye's been slightly tuned by viewing all these, you know, vast array of different submissions. I feel like that's why it's important as well that we see these images from all these various stages of people's progress. It'd be all well and good if all you ever view is like the tippy top percentage of images. That's one thing, but let's face it, most people's images don't look like that, so there's very few opportunities to learn from viewing that kind of thing, as fun as it is. So you know, when people post images with bits of flaws and they're open to, you know, having the submissions critiqued, it's massively helpful for everybody involved. So if you're here and you can hear me say this, I want to say thank you for taking the time to share what you get up to. It means a lot and it helps out tons of people. And we all get to see your very pretty images as well, which is a positive. So thank you very much indeed. One more, please. Just uploaded for the first time in the Discord. Oh. Since you ask so nicely, go on. We'll do one more before I collapse. Oh, crikey. I don't know when to stop, do I? Which is it? Andromeda, this one, yeah? Oh. It's quite nice. Star shape, size, color. Overall, size and shape are good. Color looks a bit lacking in star color. Most of them are just like white with very little variance, maybe just bits and bats here on some of the particularly colored stars. The outer extents of Andromeda look a little textured to my eye, like some kind of hallucination has crept in there at some point or another. It's not very distracting, but I see it, so I'm pointing it out. The core is close in colouring towards looking and appearing natural, but it's biased slightly towards green, and the background overall is biased slightly towards purple, purple magenta tone. So there's patches of it that's slightly different coloured, like here, and down here.
Most of it's good though. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think probably set your black point slightly darker, and maybe have another stab at the core of Andromeda itself there if you want to take this as far as it can possibly go, because it looks like pretty nice data, to be fair. So thank you for sharing that. Go on, I'll try to be sure. Can't do any more though. I'll just do these last couple. I promise I would stay longer if I could. I'm just I'm aware that my son wakes up a bunch of times in the night, and I feel properly tight if I just leave it all up to Chloe. Wizard image with the Altai 70 EDQ, 585M, SHO and RGB for stars, 2.5 hours per narrowband. Okay, 25 minutes each for RGB. Similar workflow to one of Luke's. Cool. Well, I feel like a bit much green has crept in, perhaps, but if it's a choice that you've made on purpose, can't knock you for it. It is attractive. There's some stippling of... well, it's hard to say. It's like a coherent shape all over the image, so you can see this reversed C, if you like, dot, 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 dot. It's the same here, it's the same here, it's the same here, it's the same here. It's all over the image for some reason, so it looks like there might have been some degree of clone stamping or something going on that's introduced some problems. I can't say for sure. Something's gone on. And the core is, for my tastes, over-sharpened. Like, it's hallucinated and over-sharpened, but it's still attractive. So please don't feel like I'm going ham and ripping it to bits or anything like that. I just try and offer you the best feedback I can. Most of the colour I like. I just feel like there's maybe a fraction too much green crept in, unless you wanted that. Background is biased a bit towards purple as well, top and bottom, but it is mostly freer gradients, so that's nice to see. Well done there, Jim. I think this last two, absolute last two. Thomas, Spacecat 51, L Para 533. There's like a strange artifacting across the whole image on this, everywhere. These little tiny little squirrely squiggly lines. Super weird. I'm seeing them everywhere. Black point's a bit bright. Overall colour of the background isn't too bad. Much of the nebula is pushed too far towards brown, so it's neither yellow nor red. It's just something in between. Can't even really call it copper, I guess. It's just bit of a nondescript colour. The crescent itself is pushed towards purple. It doesn't look overdone, to be fair. It's about on the ragged edge of what you could get from this data. There's not much of the oxygen shell showing up, and what is there is desaturated rather than blue. So yeah, there's a fair few bits to be worked on with that one. I'm sorry to sound so brutal with it. I just trying to offer you what I can. Photon Voyager Orion, my first acceptable image. Haha! Crikey, mate, that's a good time. Much harder to shoot and process than you'd think. It is. I agree. FF65, 533, drizzled. Okay. NoiseX, Graxpert, BlurX, SETI Astro, StarX. Got you. Okay. So, I think it's really pleasant, mate. Now, a lot of the stars are missing some colour. I feel like you could maybe saturate your stars layer a bit more before you put it back in, perhaps. And maybe neutralise the colour of much of the reflection around outside the edge of Orion here. Like this whitish stuff is coming up purple. Should perhaps be a bit more towards white. And maybe allow the core to be fractionally brighter than you have as well, because it looks flattened too much. There's not much to describe to me the fact that this is brighter than this, etc. It all looks much of a muchness.
So, you know, let the image speak for itself a little in that kind of regard. I think that's always a tasteful thing to do, at least from my perspective. But much of what you've done is very, very good. Just try to rid that slight color bias if you could. But you know, as you said, this is your first acceptable image. I think you're being overly hard on yourself there. If you're taking images of this kind of quality, you've probably taken a bunch of nice shots already. So yeah, well done. Thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate, again, I really do appreciate you guys sharing your data so readily, being open to feedback, criticism, etc. It takes some bottle to be, you know, putting your data up for like public judgment, if you like that. It's not lost on me that you're doing that, so thank you. Yeah, really do appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll see a load more in the next live stream. I know I've missed some images, and there's a big chunk of ones that we haven't managed to get, so we will have to work our way through and make these seen at some point. It's just I'm up against time, obviously, lately. I want to keep doing my job and be there on the streams and things like that, but I also definitely don't want to miss out on being a dad as well, you know what I mean? I'm sure that's perfectly reasonable. I want to make the most of the unique situation I'm in, where I can be around a lot, you know what I mean? Background could be darker, I feel. Gotcha. Yeah, bad flats maybe. Possibly, mate. BlurXTerminator can produce an artifact. Yes, if used on non-linear data, so you should always use it linear data. Thanks for the critique and feedback. Very helpful. Great stream overall. No problem at all, dude. Thank you very much for sharing your data. Thank you for the feedback. No problem. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, dudes. I appreciate it. Have a great night. I'll try to. Yeah, I will try to. It's been going through household, to be fair, Mike. We've all ended up poorly at some point or another, so I just feel like I'm the last person standing now who hasn't yet been ill, so it's got to be my turn. Thank you for tonight's stream. No problem, Mick. Appreciate you coming and spending some time with me, mate. Yeah. Oh, Luke, so my kids all have the checkbook. Oh, thank you, Mike. Very, very kind of you. Yeah, thank you all so much for your support as well tonight. Blimey, I can't say it enough. But, you know, truly, I want you to know that it is appreciated. It really, really is. Right. Very reasonable, Luke. I'm glad you're on my side, Mike. You're a strong ally. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. It's been a pleasure, chaps. Really, really has. Hopefully I'll catch you sooner rather than later. I just, like I say, I like to go live as and when I possibly can. It's just nice to connect with you all, spend some time chatting and catching up. Hopefully you'll see the result of tonight's imaging as quick as I possibly can. There's a lot to put together, but you can be sure as soon as it's ready, it'll be shared with you and sent out. But yeah, other than that, just as always, I want to say thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your time, and hopefully you've had as much fun as me. With that said, look after yourselves, guys, and I'll see you when I see you. Until then, though,